Well, we'll start the episode for real now. Episode 130. I believe we'll have a full crew here when Kyle's able to join us. He's dropping some kids off at the pool. He's he's laying some pipe, I think. Is that what they say?
No, that's sex talk, Tim. That's a different thing.
Wow.
Yep. I think, right?
Maybe he's doing that, guys. Maybe
I was
he's
gonna say.
doing that.
Laying the pipe has nothing to do with going to the bathroom.
Oh,
Maybe
what is
Tim does it in the bathroom.
Maybe it's just checking the plumbing. I don't know. Maybe that's also a sex thing. Anyway,
Tim's like too old to understand the slang of kids.
What do the kids say?
He's cleaning out his pipes.
Yep.
That also sounds, well, whatever. Who knows? All right. Anyway, we're jumping into episode 130. We've got a lot to talk about because there's been a whole bunch of news this past week. Who needs E3 when you have Gamescom? That's kind of how I'm starting to feel after this week. It's been pretty exciting. Gamescom, I think it's been a really fun event. If you've tracked the videos that have come out, of course, they had the big opening night live that Jeff Keighley hosted. And then all this week, there's been just tons of gameplay videos and developer interviews and new trailers and all kinds of stuff. A lot of hands-on stuff from different outlets like IGN, GameSpot, and others. So I think it's been a really fun week. Kind of reminds me a lot of the vibes I got from E3. So really love that this is happening. Gamescom's always had some interesting moments over the years. I shouldn't say always. It has had some interesting moments over the years, but it hasn't always been the event that I'm like super tuned into. Last couple of years it has, though. I think maybe 2-3 years in a row now. I've been like, dude, Gamescom's great. And I don't know if it's because they went more remote. I don't know what it was. Something about the coverage maybe is just different. Maybe Gamescom's always been awesome, and the coverage is just changing.
I don't know. I feel like they're compensating a little bit, but in a good way.
Yeah, I think it's been the
I don't think it's ever been and I could be wrong, it's never been really a place where you announce a lot of big stuff. I think it was always showing off newer stuff. I think it's becoming more of a E3 looking type thing because I think the IGNs and stuff like that are swarming there. Now you have Jeff Keighley involved, and anytime you have Jeff Keighley involved, you're going to get announcements. So I did feel like, while it's not at the level to me what an E3 is, it still had that vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt that too. I think Western, when you do it in the West, like in E3, you entice, like you get more of the bigger devs that want to stop in and make their big announcements because they live here, whereas it's kind of hard to get them over to Europe, even if there is no E3 anymore.
But it seems like everyone's more motivated.
I feel like they're compensating for E3 in a great way. Like I mean, media is all over this, especially because I think they're not going to TGS. So I mean, at least the Western journalists are not. So
it feels like they're more motivated to get to this one because this is kind of the gathering that E3 is no longer around. It's been gone for a while now, and Gamescom has grown over the last few years. So it's become more than just, hey, gamers, come attend in the droves and thousands and try games, which is kind of what I always knew it to be, even though there was sometimes some really cool news out of there. There's some really cool videos that would come out of there. It was
always, to my recollection, it was always like half the stuff that might have been announced at E3 is now being demoed at Gamescom, something like that. And that's not an exact number, obviously. It's probably way less, but you expected to hear some hands-on previews at least. I agree. But now there's like more announcements, and the games that are getting announced are getting played, and like
and a lot of European studios will make announcements over there.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think we're now getting it where, at least for this year, and maybe last year too, I don't have everything memorized. We're getting more E3 style announcements where it's just across the board.
I love it.
Last year had a good amount too. The opening night live, Keighley did that there last year as well. I believe.
Okay.
And
so
without people though, right? He did it there, but it was
so the Kyle Bossman just did. He just released his newer video, and he mentioned so it's been 4 years, and a couple of them were because of the whole COVID thing. But he's been doing that for 4 years, and there's definitely been a noticeable.
One.
Yeah,
I think 2019 was the last live one.
Okay, gotcha.
Wow.
So we'll get into all those details. We'll kind of go through the highlights of that. I thought that was pretty fun, and not just opening night live, but also some of the stuff that's come out since then. So feel free if you guys want, because we're going to talk about new games first, then we'll go to Gamescom. But jot down some of the games because there's so many. There's too many for us to cover. If there's some specifically that you want to make sure we talk about, make sure you have those noted somewhere so we don't.
All about that P.
But we're going to start off with stuff that we're playing. There's some new games that dropped this week that we want to get to. There's two specifically that I want to make sure we get a chance to talk about because they've been highly anticipated. One is, of course, the bigger name game, and that's Saints Row. And the other one is a smaller game that really picked up I think, some really great momentum with the demo that came out and with being on Game Pass, and that's Midnight Fight Express. One developer, I believe. Could be wrong.
I think so too. I think it's one person.
One-man team, at least doing the bulk of the work there. Anyway, let's talk about Saints Row first. So it was delayed from earlier this year. It's been in the, I think we heard about it for the first time. Was it last year or was it 2 years ago that we heard?
It was rumored for a while.
Announced last year
was the official
announcement. I think it was announced last year.
Yeah. So and then
I feel like it was a quick turnaround. Like it was kind of announced, and then a bunch of press came out.
No,
it's been heavily.
It was a couple of years ago because I remember Keeley being like, "I'm really excited about this. It's one guy making this," and then he showed the trailer, and I was like, "Oh, one guy made this." Saints Row. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought we were talking about the other one.
Yeah, no, you're right. That is true about Midnight Fight Express. But for Saints Row, I believe that was last year that it was officially announced.
Okay.
Then it was delayed from the spring to August, and it is now here. And sure, critically, it's getting mixed reviews and whatever else, but we've got a couple of folks who are playing it, and I believe having some fun. So tell me what you guys think about Saints Row. I have not gotten this game yet. It's one of those that I'll probably grab on sale. I own the other Saints Row games. I've played them, I mean, maybe a combined 4 or 5 hours. So like I have never really dug into these. These are meaty games. They're very the kind of games that, like, if you like that loop and if you like that wackiness, you can get lost in it and just play it for long, especially if you have buddies to play with. Like, it can be a blast. I get that. I just never really got the hooks in me, but I never had anything bad. I never had like truly negative thoughts toward this series. And this game sounds like it's more Saints Row. Is that fair to say? Or is it more than that?
Yeah, unapologetically more, I would even say. You know, I think you know, they really just knew what Saints Row and just continue to just do that. And you know, if you're looking for innovation and stuff like that, that's not here. And boy, if this game was going to come out like 6 months ago or 4 months ago, I can't even believe what state it would be in, you know, because there's this derpy is what Bruce Green called it, you know, like he didn't want to call it like, you know, it's not broken. You can play the game, but there's like weirdness to it, all about it, like all the way from
janky.
The physics, jank, you know, you know, but like in a fun way. So I think that's why he calls it derpy. So like when the jank happens, you're like, okay, that's kind of silly. You know, so and it's all kind of part of the charm because it's always kind of been there, you know. These
like it's kind of like Skyrim, right? Like when a body
the physics, like when a door hits a dead body and like the body flies, like
hilarious.
Ricochets all over the room. Yeah, sure. When you look at it, you're like, oh boy, they could have worked that out or whatever. But also you get a little laugh, you know.
Yeah.
You know, and there's other little things that like like, there's no cover system in this game, you know. So if you're used to like third-person shooters having like snapping into cover and stuff like that, you might be searching for that naturally just from playing other games, so that's not here. But it's never been in the series either.
I was looking for that at the beginning too. I was like,
I actually couldn't believe it.
And
I was like, wow, they didn't put cover all these years later. They didn't have a cover system.
I thought the same thing about Just Cause. I'm like, if they added that to Just Cause, I might play this game a lot more.
Yeah, and I can give you an answer, and none of us will be happy with it because I'm giving you the answer, but I'm not happy with it. You know, they want you to move around and be mobile, in Just Cause and in this, they want you to run up and be really aggressive. But dude, sometimes I just want to snap into cover. You know, like it's you know, it feels natural in the game space these days. So you know, that is something that I was just like, I'm surprised they didn't add that. You know, you know, another you know, pseudo gripe I have is that like in open world games, especially these like I don't want to call them GTA games, but these crime-based open world games, which I guess would be a GTA game.
Yeah, that's the only one I can think of.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the like Mafia, you know, like the soundtrack the soundtrack is usually a banger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not so much here. Not a lot of good songs. In fact, a lot of artists I've never heard of before. Not, you know, maybe some classics here and there, but few and far between. And it's just it's not something like I'm kind of excited to turn the radio off, like when I get in the car. So.
Maybe they went the cheap route because
but Embracer Group, all that China money, man, they couldn't you know, they couldn't get some licenses. But you're right, Derek. You're absolutely right. You know, it is a big money savings when you don't.
That's a huge corner to cut.
Yeah, right. That you don't have to like go into it. But you know, Saints Row is known for having, you know, like lots of great you know, songs on them. You know, there's even moments in Saints Row like 3 where like you're in the car like with an NPC and y'all sing it together. Y'all sing a Sublime song together, you know, like and like awesome. Your two NPCs are singing it, and it's like a moment, and it's like, boy, they paid a lot of money for this. But like, you know,
the third Saints Row, the third is when you jump out of a plane and they're playing Stronger, right? Or
yeah,
is it Stronger?
That's 3 the plane. Well, I don't know what song it is, but yeah, that's 3 the plane. I know some.
That'd be Kanye, yeah.
It is
I know
Kanye,
some-
but it's
I
not
know
strong.
some
Stronger
Kanye
is a
song
Daft
is
Punk
playing.
song. It's not it. That's not it. But it's a Kanye song for sure. And I'm
Yeah.
like, that's thousands of dollars in licensing. Like that's
So Derek is absolutely right. It is a money saver, but it's also something that's not. I'm used to Saints Row there being like some money poured into that, but
so
I doubt a lot of people are like playing this game to like jam out to the radio stations. It's a big part of it for me, but I know it's probably a smaller qualm for others.
Yeah, so their last release was kind of a dud. Like Agents of Mayhem didn't do well.
It was a dud, yeah.
So that's why I was thinking, I don't have any proof. This is just me thinking business wise. Like they put a lot of money into advertisement because I think they wanted this to be a hit. So they may have cut corners in other areas.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think that sounds right.
Makes sense,
and
if that's the
they're and this is one of those like mass appeal games too. So it's trying to grab like every demographic that exists out there. So
tell me about the go to the beginning. Tell me about the character creator, because this to me sounds like one of the highlights. Tell me about that, because I feel like that.
Jeff, I made me because I'm a egomaniac. But like Jeff, why don't you talk about it, because you always make derpy people. So
I make the dumbest looking people in Saints Row games. So I mean,
without getting us canceled, describe it.
Even if you, oh my God, I can't see now. I can't describe my exact character. But even if you just hit a randomize, like just hit Y, I think it's Y or whatever the equivalent of Y is on freaking PS controllers. You still get hilarious results out of that. Like sometimes you get a cool one, and then sometimes you get something derpy. And as the first time I got something derpy, I was like, I'm gonna stick with that. And I made it's this woman who's packing. She's packing, and she's got a big one.
Like guns.
She's got a big area. Let me just down there.
Like
like unpacking. Yeah.
And
Jeff unpacked.
And she's got like a really derpy. Kyle, I think you chose a Southern accent.
Kyle's
too.
Stuck.
Oh, he's stuck. He's bewildered by
he heard the word unpacking and he left.
All right, I'm just making sure I'm not. Yeah, it's just Kyle. Okay.
He's like, you said unpacking.
But that
timing was great though. Yeah.
I gave her this derpy Southern accent where it's like, "We'll shoot y'all," and it's like really low pitched.
Oh,
and
you just wanted to laugh every time
her teeth are all jacked up. She's got these pigtails that are like really stupid. She's got a big cheeks and jaw, and
take a screenshot and send it to us. We need to include this.
Yeah, she's hideous, dude. It's hilarious. But you get to pick like the sensor for your genitals and stuff. It's ridiculous. It's as ridiculous as the other games.
So like what? Like a black bar as opposed
to
emojis
for your nipples or for your wiener or
sure
or whatever. Like I don't know.
There he is.
It's a little silly. But yeah, I had a lot of fun going through every single option just to see what was there. And some of them I just left them as is because I'm like, okay, I don't have time. It's kind of like the WWE one where you're like, I don't have time to do all this, so let's move on. But it's for at the beginning it's kind of a lot, and then I understand you just keep unlocking stuff as you go on, gather money and can afford to buy more customizable stuff. It's good though, and the gun customizing is in the game too. Like I'm having fun with that, and I think they've been doing that. I mean, did that.
And you unlock perks for your gun too. So like there'll be skills and stuff that you unlock by like, I don't know, like maybe you shoot 8 people in the head or something like that, and then like there's always some kind of mission.
There's challenges,
Or
is that a skill that sticks with your character after you do that?
Or that gun, that type of gun. Like you'll unlock a certain skill for that gun. Like I did it for my shotgun, and now I have like shredder ammo, like which just goes through like armor and stuff like that. So it's like. So, and you do that for the car too. So if you're driving a car, like it'll have a challenge for you. And when you complete that challenge and you take your car back to your garage, you can unlock a specific perk designed for that car.
That's cool.
So there's a lot of really cool like customization and stuff like that. And there's some really, I was saying there's not a lot of innovation there. There is one kind of interesting way of like grounding you more in the world when interacting with like fast travel systems, So in most games, like you press start, you click on a town you've been to before, and you just go there. It's kind of a disconnected experience or whatever. And this one, you have to find landmarks, take pictures of them, and then that becomes like a fast travel point or whatever. But it
Got
kind
it.
of cements like, that's like where that big thing is or whatever. I remember finding that.
That's a cool
We
idea.
fast travel there real quick, you know. Also, like to customize stuff or get new materials for like your weapons or your clothes and stuff like that. You'll take pictures in like what you call like photo challenges. And this is how I like taking pictures in games. I know people like just taking pictures like because they're, you know, photographers like in games, but like this is like a mechanic in the game where if you take certain pictures of things in the environment, you unlock like maybe the way that thing is built, or maybe you unlock the entire statue so you can put that statue like in your HQ or whatever. Or maybe you, unlock a certain material that you can like put on your gun and stuff like that. And there's all sorts of little like missions like that you can go down the rabbit hole of, you know. And that stuff is like pretty unique and stuff. And I feel like it really grounds you in this like a really dumb, wacky world.
Yeah, and I think another thing that's grounding it is the interplay between like the main four characters. Like you have your character that you're playing, and then that person's like three homies or whatever. Yep. Like I feel like their dialogue's just more fleshed out in this, like their relationship's just more fleshed out, who each person is, and how you're kind of starting at the bottom with them together. Barely.
I enjoy the banter, you know.
Yeah.
It's goofy. I mean, it's not going to be for everybody for sure, you know. Like it's going to be one of those things where if the characters aren't doing it for you, you're never going to care about like, you know, what's going on in the story.
Yeah, I'm into it.
But there's some really cool relationships there. You all come from a different gang, you know, so when you all, you know, like have to strike it out on your own, you're all like taking kind of like elements of the other gangs in the area like into this new venture with you. And you know, with that comes knowledge of those gangs from those characters, and like everyone feels important and they all have a role and stuff like that. It's just not like three talking heads, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm enjoying that. You know, they put some thought into that. You know, I'm not saying the story is revolutionary.
They talked about the story building up to the game, about how there's
they did
more of an emphasis.
You know, and if you look at reviews, I mean, you know, stories are always going to be subjective and stuff like that. But like, you know, some people are really enjoying it, and some people like can't stand it. So you know, your mileage is going to vary. It sounds like Jeff and I are enjoying kind of like at least kind of where things are going. There LARPing, I guess, is in for video games. There's a whole LARPing mission chain in this, and much like Life is Strange, it is easily the best thing I've played in this game. It's absolutely so much fun. You use Nerf guns and stuff, and when you do like the kill animations, like you're pulling your punches, you know, like you know, like because you're play fighting or whatever, and it's and that's the other thing is like there's kill animations in this. So like as you build up a meter, you can run up to people and do really elaborate kill animations. Like some are directly taken from movies. Like there's 3 or 4 actual John Wick moves. There's Daniel San's, you know, Karate Kid's crane kick and stuff like that. The same exact way he does it, you know. Like there's all these like actual. I think there's something from Ung Bak. Like there's a couple like you know elbow strikes and knees. Yep, elbow strikes and knees. Yeah,
Tony Jaa.
So it's Tony Jaa, Tony Jaa moveset, you know, so like there's all these really cool animations and stuff like that that you're building up to, and boy, every time I activate one of those,
it's so cool.
Big smiles, major smiles for me.
I did one where she pulls out a knife and just like does like the John Wick thing, and it's so satisfying, dude.
Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah.
So and that's kind of like Watch Doggies. You know, I actually feel a lot of Watch Dogs like in this game, even though I'm not a huge Watch Dogs fan. You know, there's a lot of elements, not only visually, because I know there's an actual character that looks like a Watch Dogs character with like the the TV screen face and stuff like that, but like
the emojis or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. You know, but I mean beyond that, I mean like there's a lot of like elements of the mechanics and stuff like that feel kind of Watch Dogsy and stuff like that. So and the open world just feels like an open world, you know. There's it's not reinventing the wheel or anything like this, but you can buy ventures, and like, you know, I bought a waste plant to put down, and that accumulates money for you, and you're constantly doing missions for them and clearing out the areas of bad guys and stuff like that. It's always keeping you engaged in these areas and cleaning up areas, and you'll create more revenue, you know. So it's all about creating this empire, and it actually feels like you're creating an empire as you're buying more properties and setting more businesses there and running those businesses.
Business management element to this game.
I never made that hype video, so you know, there's probably a lot of this stuff that y'all didn't know. But there's this major business venture, you know, that you're pulling out. I have like 6 different businesses, all open up new types of mission types and side quests and stuff like that.
Sounds very Godfather, right?
Very Godfather. Very good call. That's exactly.
Can you
what it's
open
like,
a power wash business and then power wash simulate your way through the
No,
entire
but you can open a laundromat. So,
Okay.
Tim,
All right, that's good too.
Tim, please get
I'm
excited.
in.
Tim.
I'm in.
get excited, Tim. Okay,
All right, so and Derek, you were gonna get this game, but you didn't, right? Your order got canceled, so now you're on like a wait and see with this one, right?
Okay, so yeah, I mean, I'll make it quick, but I was excited because I got it from CD Keys for $33. But this is where now I'm having issues with Epic Games because this is an Epic Games exclusive.
I hear it's like broken on Epic Games, is what I'm.
Yeah, well,
what
and
I'm
that's
hearing, yeah.
that's part of my story. Is so I ended up getting my order canceled. They refunded me $33 because I just think CD Keys didn't have a key from Epic Games. I think it's harder for them to get Epic Games keys than it is for them to get Steam. So then I still really wanted to play this game. So I was like, all day I was like checking it out. I was like, dude, just buy it. So I bought it from Epic Games. I was like, I'd already got my refund. So I paid the extra $27. I paid $60. I played an hour. I enjoyed it. I saw the things that I would call objective issues, but I was still having fun. Like my expectations, I had watched enough reviews that I was like, all right, first of all, I didn't have super high expectations, but they moved down to where I could play and be like, this is just fun. This is an open world arcadey shooter that's silly. And as long as I'm okay with that, I will enjoy this. The only reason I asked for a refund is because it crashed. And I had other issues, and I was like, look, I've watched enough reviews where every one of them that were reviewing it that were having issues we're talking about the PC side. I said, I'm not paying $60 for a game I feel like I should only pay $30 for and buy a broken version of it. So I decided to refund that order, and I am gonna buy it. In fact, I checked.
But I've heard the same things
every day.
They're just having problems. Yeah.
Yeah. They just need it patched. Again, this is where I think I don't think this is a small developer, but I don't think they have the infrastructure to handle all these different versions and make sure they all run perfectly. I think there's even issues on PS5, Xbox Series X, all that stuff. So I think there's just
issues
too many
everywhere.
tiers.
I think PC had it the worst because I was watching Bruce play it and it was crashing constantly. They couldn't.
Well,
Bruce and Lawrence couldn't play co-op together at all. You know, like it would just
mainly
crash
a
every time they loaded the
console
mission.
game, which Saints Row is mainly a console game.
It is, yeah.
That's where they're gonna make sure it runs the
Yeah.
best, and then PC kind of gets
Shafted.
leftover.
I would suggest though that this game is ripe for mods, so it seems to me that PC will be the place where it should flourish.
I
right?
agree with that. Yeah.
I think they will fix it, and by the time
on
they
Steam,
fix
let
it,
people mod it.
I will get it for $20 or $30. Well, we gotta wait till 2023 for Steam, so that's annoying.
All right, there's nothing coming out in 2023. I hope they put it out in February.
No.
I will definitely buy it though.
I hope that's gonna hit.
Dude, dry spell for 2023.
Total dry spell. Guys,
I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news. Everything's getting delayed, Go.
Kyle, you shut your damn mouth, Kyle.
All of it. All of 2023.
Kyle, you're no longer a predictor. You're now like
I was in the middle of.
I'm a soothsayer, is what I
am. I was literally in the middle of playing Saints Row like a couple hours ago, and the developer knocked on my door and took my digital download.
You're like delayed.
This is delayed.
This is delayed. Actually, you're not allowed.
How do you have this?
Thanks,
This is
Kyle.
delayed.
Thanks, Kyle.
And then he comes back and there's a text message on his phone. And it's me going. and for the listeners, it's me doing finger guns.
Yeah,
at the
double
screen.
gun. The old double gun. Yep. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. So in general, the recommendation I've heard from folks is if you like Saints Row games, you'll enjoy this. Just go in with the right expectations. This is not like a instant classic, top of the line, but it's not. It's also not a broken mess.
But also, please do not play this if you never liked Saints Row games.
Yeah.
This is not going to win you over. It's
what's frustrating.
It's not even trying to win you over.
Yeah,
so.
That's fair.
What's frustrating though is all the douches on social media that were complaining prior to the game even coming out, just because the characters looked like hipster, for example.
Yeah.
And now it's almost like
they're getting their
right?
I told you so. Yeah. They're having their fun for sure. Yeah.
So it's like whatever, guys. Like.
Yep.
I hate when
I'm having fun. I really don't give a shit. I'm having fun.
No, I don't either. It's just annoying because those people suck and they're like,
I'm right.
Yeah. I don't
That's why I don't
give a
get
hoot
away
nanny.
from bigger groups is because that's what it always becomes, especially if you're in like an unlocked or a beyond where it's a specific like, oh, an Xbox game came out and it's trash. Let's talk about how we knew it was trash, blah, blah, blah. So I get tired of that it's just like, can we talk to the people that either are playing the game or actually had an interest in the game and being critical because they're disappointed and they were actually interested. You don't get that. A lot of times you just get people that were never interested and they just want to throw it in your face.
They just get their bias confirmed. That's what they want. They just want
that's all they want is to be told that they're right.
Yeah, as Bill Burr says, you just go to imright.com, find something that agrees with you already, and then throw it back.
Boom, bing, bang, boom. Speaking of Podcast Beyond, how do you think that group was last week when Death Stranding got announced on Game Pass? You think they were cordial about that?
Some of them are still hospitalized, I think.
I would have loved to sneak into that group last week to see all that mess.
Oh man.
It was probably transphobic.
Oh my God!
Well, I'm so glad I only ever joined our group. That's it.
Yeah.
Is there a term when pertaining to religion would just like a huge group of people just commit mass suicide? Is there a term for that or?
Yeah,
it's called Waco, Texas.
Like a cult?
It's called Jamestown.
So that's what happened in the Beyond group.
Literally drinking the Kool-Aid.
Drinking.
Yeah, they all drink the Kool-Aid, laid down, never woke up.
Yep. No, that's Heaven's Gate, isn't it?
Heaven's Gate.
It's Jamestown.
But they both Jonestown, not Jamestown.
Or Jonestown.
Oh, it's Jonestown. Yeah, I don't know. Jamestown is an actual city.
That's a massacre. There was a massacre there.
Wasn't Jonestown like in Central America somewhere?
It was, yeah.
Anyway, guys, this is not a history podcast.
There's a whole documentary about it. It's great. Go check it out.
Point is, if you like Saints Row games, you're gonna like this game.
Yeah.
If you don't like Saints Row games, then you don't play it.
Then you're gonna join a cult.
It's okay to wait a little while and let it get updated, and by the time it's on sale, it's probably gonna be playing better than it's ever played before. And I can probably guarantee that because that's how games work. So
I have a gift card to Target that would knock the game price down, but I can't buy a PC version. Is it worth playing on PS5? I'm a graphics whore. Does it look good?
I think it looks great. I don't think you're gonna like it, but I think for a Saints Row game, it's very vibrant. Like the colors are they pop really well. It's more colorful than most open world games. I would say.
I should buy it cheaper on PS5 and just let it be my casual game.
It sounds like that's where it's most stable too. Is on the new the next gen PS5 and Xbox Series X.
Keep your expectations for the technical visuals low. Just keep those expectations.
They're already low because
they're not.
When I was actually playing the game, it was fine. When I was watching cutscenes and the action scenes, I was like, okay, this is really old looking, and I'm talking
that's not gonna go, and that's not going away.
Feels like a previous gen.
We should do a whole episode where we talk about cutscenes, because I still remember back in the PS1 days, because none of the Nintendo systems did this, but when PS1, a Final Fantasy VII especially would go to these epic cutscenes. It just, dude, I sat back in my chair in my room back in 1998 or whatever year it was that I played that game, and I was just like,
suddenly the graphics get 17 times better,
then it would cut back to the game where Cloud just has two big box hands.
You're walking like this.
FMVs, Yeah, it was mind blowing. I still to this
you
day,
can actually see Cloud's hands. They're not polygons.
To this day get my with the PS2 when it was Final Fantasy X.
Yeah,
and that first FMV of when Titus is sitting there getting ready for that Blitzball match, and then everything starts happening. It's holy shit, this is real life.
I couldn't believe watching the trailer for that and going they have voices.
Yeah. And then
Alexander attacking the city, or was it defending the city in Final Fantasy VII? Wasn't that in 7?
Yes, when Bahamut and Alexander are 9, it's 9.
Dude. Crazy.
The way you're looking when you think to yourself looks like you're asking Dan on my screen. Was that
is he this direction?
The person to ask,
he's the other direction.
So,
Oh, he's this way.
Yeah. So you're looking that way.
You see here. You see.
No, Dan, you have to face the other way for me.
See,
there you go.
For me, I'm in the top left, so I have to look down at you guys hey.
It's very Brady Bunch. Hey guys, what's going on? Wow.
Tim, if you flip off towards the sky, you'd be flipping Derek off for me. So if you wanna
stop it.
That's where you
Stop it.
He didn't really flick me off.
It. No, he did.
He's too nice. He's too nice.
Why I oughta?
To the moon.
All right, the other new game that's come out this week that I wanted to talk about is Midnight Fight Express. This is a game that should have been tucked away in another fun indie game that released corner, just the way it looks. But there was something about it that caught a lot of people's attention. Then they put a demo out. So for me, it's one of those games that I might have tried. Who knows? But I tried the demo and I was immediately won over because of the super fast and very satisfying arcadey combat that's actually surprisingly deep. I mean arcadey just because of the way it feels and how it's snappy, but it's actually really deep. The combat system has a lot going on, lots of buttons to kind of learn and combos to figure out.
It's funny you mentioned that. I always forget you can just grab a thing and throw it.
grab a thing, throw it. Yeah.
I forget
Like,
you
I-
can slow down time.
over
I'm
here,
like,
I
oh yeah,
wanna
you can
punch
just slow down
I
time.
unlocked grapple really early on. I was like, there's a whole grapple system involved in here too, where you can
Oh,
even
wow.
you could even do a choke slam on a guy. Did you know that?
What?
No,
I didn't know that.
Choke slam.
Now I'm
So
gonna
it's a
play
re-
until
so
I
it's a
get
wrestling
it.
game.
I did
I
unlock
unlocked that
finishers.
immediately. Yeah.
I unlocked finishers, and the finisher in the demo, like the video, a clip of it was just like a German suplex or something. And I'm like,
Yeah,
these
I think
guys are wrestling fans.
he's a wrestling fan, I think, because if you go under the grapple, one of the first things you can unlock is a choke slam move, and it's legitimately where
that's
you grab him
funny.
on the neck and do like one-handed choke slam. But anyway,
Later on, you unlock the people's elbow. It's not, it's not a big deal.
Easy, guys.
so
Like the most
this
wrestling
is-
move in the history of wrestling.
So this is a stylish isometric action game. You could call it action RPG actually, because of the way that you upgrade and unlock things. But there's definitely a arcade kind of fastest run, highest score element to it, where
Yeah, they get a grade at the end.
right at the beginning, it'll tell you, like, it'll give you a list of your progress right at the beginning. It's not hard to find. It'll say, I completed level 3 of 41. So you know right away, all right, there's 41 main levels. There's 100 and something challenges. You can actually go into the practice room and create whatever you want, whatever combination of enemies or items you want in the practice arena. So like they essentially have put this kind of arcade sandbox into this game that also has a linear path if you want to. So there's some pretty cool stuff that this developer has added in. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's called Midnight Fight Express. You are literally running around fighting. You just punch everything. You're kicking everything. You're shooting things, throwing things. Don't get too close to explosives that you throw. I made that mistake more than once.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah, oopsies. But anyway, I think it's super fun, super stylish. I think the visuals work well for it because it allows it to run pretty smoothly. Although I will say on my PC, it gets surprisingly hot for a smaller game.
I'm surprised by that too, man. I got it on, I got an actual like a 4K monitor. I'm running on 4K, and I'm like, it's running like the same temperature that freaking Spider-Man runs, man.
It gets really hot.
I'm like, what is going on with this?
It might just need to be optimized. We might get a patch for it, and it might get optimized a bit.
Yeah.
But anyway, I find it.
I say we stand outside this one guy's house and just riot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the one guy that made
the one singular guy. We should just go.
Why is my computer?
He's like, wait, what's wrong with the game? It's great. We love it. It's
we
fun.
love it, but my room's about 5 degrees hotter now.
I hate that.
I hate it.
That's what I hate. So yeah, it's one of those games too where it starts out with you're being interrogated by these guys, and then they ask you to go back and tell what happened, or how you got here, who you are, whatever. So, but it's very lightweight on that story element. Although I am kind of interested to see, like, well, who am I and how did I?
Because the first boss you defeat mentions, oh, you're this guy.
Yeah.
Wait until my boss finds out that you're here. And whatever,
that first boss
yada,
gave me very strong Hotline Miami vibes for some reason. That boss.
I was gonna say this just feels like easy and more flashy Hotline Miami, which I really enjoy because like the soundtrack is very Hotline Miami, the vibes are very Hotline Miami.
Yeah,
I like it.
It's like Hotline Miami, but you insert the Spider-Man combat kind of. Yeah, like because it's intuitive and there's no latency on the button. Like you kind of know exactly how to block, when to block, and like
you can button mash.
You can
way through a lot of it at the beginning, especially, but it's gonna suit you much better for your score as well as for keeping your health up by doing the I was gonna say combos, but the counters. If you block
the counters,
using items, using weapons.
I'm still getting the blocking down. I feel like I thought like my character will.
That's the first thing I unlocked was the counter because it flashes. I play with a controller. It flashes Y above their head. Right when they're about to hit you, and you get some really cool counter.
And
attacks.
you don't have to use the dumb LB button, which is annoying at first to hit them. But
thank God I unlocked that first.
It's cool hearing you guys talk about what you unlocked because I went a different like the unlock actually gives you some helpful stuff, but it depends on what you what playstyle you want to go with, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, I went Brawler. I'm going down the Brawler, like the first tree or whatever. So
yeah, and it's also a little tongue in cheek, like at the beginning, the first level when they're taking you through the tutorial, even the enemies will say like, "We're gonna take out our misguided anger on you," or they say something like that.
They do, and they also keep mentioning the pizza guy. Like they keep saying, "I want freaking pizza." Like it's so funny how they got like this weird hard-on for pizza, like in the first 3 levels.
It's got a bit of speaking of pizza, a little bit of a Ninja Turtles vibe where there's some depth to it, but it's also just kind of fun, do as well as you can and hit all the buttons.
Right.
Mm-hmm. A little bit of that too. But
I was gonna say you can actually make your guy look really stupid too. So obviously I'm doing that. There were shorts called bro shorts, and I was like they're like $6,000, buying them immediately. and
Wow.
they like hang off like hang off below his crotch, so he looks really stupid with like
Oh
a
my
formal
gosh.
top shirt and his bottom half is like hanging off his ass. Like
I need to do
Sounds nice.
characters more like Jeff because I am so basic, bro. I got like a
Yeah,
cool
same
jacket
here.
and cool gloves and hat, and I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I look cool. I'm like, no, I don't. I look basic.
There's
I look
also like a
basic.
Grandmaster Ip Man outfit where
No
it's like
way.
kind of like a
Nice.
kung
That's what
fu
I'm
outfit.
buying. I'm
I
buying
like that.
one.
I like
It's
that.
it's really it's one of the first ones. Like you just scroll down a little bit, it's there. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, I love how much you can customize, even though it's just like you were mentioning, it's an arcade game, more or less, because you're gonna want to replay levels to get a better score, get more money. It's a lot of fun though. It's so much fun.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It's I don't really have much to add other than what y'all said, but it's just a good time. And 41 levels, I'll breeze through that quick. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, because they're pretty short. I'm assuming
Yep.
as the game goes on, they'll get tougher and the levels will be a little
Yeah,
lengthier. But
might have to think through some of
some of the
Yeah.
challenges
your
are like get
defenses.
to the
Yeah.
end in under 180 seconds was the challenge for that first main level that you after the tutorial, the first main level you can replay.
Right.
And so like that's how short some of these levels can be. It's like run from room to room, knock guys
Yeah.
out, and try to get all the challenges.
Just throw tables and chairs at everybody and you
Yeah.
can get fast.
Dude, that
And while
part's
I-
fun. And by the way, you
Yeah.
can block a kick. So like if you run up to a box or a chair, instead of picking up and throwing it, you literally kick it right up into their face, almost like
Sifu
Like
style.
soccer
so
ball.
cool.
Yeah.
Sifu
It's
style.
Yeah.
so cool. I love how
Which,
kinetic
like,
it is.
I wish Shifu was a little more like this game, where it was more about the fun than it was about like you better brutally know what you're doing, or we're gonna punish
that
you.
game
you
will
know?
that game will
It's an
punish
actual
you.
martial arts
Yeah,
game,
yeah.
right? Like straight up.
Yeah,
martial arts.
yeah. The new update makes it a little more like.
Oh, there's another update.
Okay.
I
coming
would
too that'll
say
make
it makes it
way
way
easier for
yeah,
everybody.
and I'm here for that. Put me
I'm
on
here for the
baby ass
easy
baby
update
mode.
and for the Matrix mod. Those
I
are the
thought
two
you were
things that-
you were a kung fu master. You should be blowing through these guys, right? You know. So I'm just trying. Hey, I'm just trying to role play, guys. You know, not a big deal.
Right.
See, this one's on Game Pass. I think it's on every
Steam,
console. I
I
could be
think.
wrong, but
I remember playing the demo on Steam. It's
I
definitely
played the demo on Steam, but
Yeah.
I installed it on
Yeah.
PC through Game Pass.
Same.
Although I'd be happy to buy, I would have been happy to spend $20-25 on this.
I think it's.
I
think
thought
it's
I was
20.
going to, and I was willing to. And
Same here.
I didn't have to, so great.
Yeah.
Just if anyone's curious what it looks like, I mean, obviously you can look up any video, but we do have the demo that I put up on our page, our YouTube page,
Yep.
Oh,
We
nice.
have that Let's Play on our YouTube channel. So go check
from
that
a
out.
while ago.
All right, so that is those are the new games. We'll circle back to anything else that we're playing and or watching at the end, time permitting. But I wanted to get through some Gamescom talk. There's lots of news that came out of Gamescom. I'll kind of go quickly and let you guys interrupt. I'll kind of pause after each one. You tell, and if there's something you want to say, it's great.
I already have an interruption plan for the first game.
Leave a pregnant pause, Tim, not just a regular pause.
Yeah,
A pregnant
Yeah,
pause.
pregnant pause. That's
I
an
don't have
industry
time
term.
for that.
Good job,
I don't
Dan.
have time
That's
for
a-
pregnant pauses.
Yeah.
So is Gamescom over now? By the way, is that event?
I thought it was
Doesn't it go
going
through the
to-
weekend?
I thought it was
think
going
it
through
goes
all
through the
weekend,
weekend.
yeah, but I don't know if there's
Through the
any more like live streams. I don't think so.
It's
Okay.
more about interviews and gameplay and stuff like
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
and letting players or attendees play things that are
Yeah.
Yeah.
Previews,
Yeah.
so
We're
on and so
probably we're gonna continue to get like just kind of one-off videos from all the major
Okay.
sites like all weekend.
Okay, cool. But the bulk of like the big wave of news, of course, at the beginning, and then like a lot of the live streams, those are behind us, and so I thought we'd review some of those things. So opening night live happened on Tuesday night. Does that sound right? I think it was
Yeah.
Tuesday night,
That's right.
or Tuesday afternoon, I suppose. Tuesday night
was
there
night
in
over there, yeah.
Germany. And so let's just start at the beginning. One of the first things they showed was from this new dev team, and it's this game called Everywhere, even though we don't know anything about it.
Really,
Nothing.
it's nowhere, right?
Yeah, it's
It was
nowhere
the-
and
was
it's
the-
everywhere.
This is honestly the worst choice for an opener, in my opinion. Like,
Yeah.
you showed me nothing with this game, and
But
then
he
said,
brought the
"Stay
dev
tuned."
out. He brought the
You'll
dev
be
out to say some
surprised.
buzzwords.
But weirdly,
to us.
this kind of sets a theme for the rest of the show.
Yeah, there's a lot of
games
this.
that show
Yeah.
nothing. And...
So I don't
But
want to
at
give too
least
much
a lot
time.
of the games, we kind of got a sense of what it was. This one was like just a little too all over the place, quite literally living up to its title. But
Agreed.
yeah,
Agreed. And then
I
they
just
jumped
have no
over
idea what it is.
to Dune Awakening. I thought maybe it was going to be an official Dune Spice Wars release since it's only in early access.
I thought so too. Yeah.
But no, this is a separate game. It is an open world survival MMO. Although we have no idea what it looks like, we can assume it's probably a third person MMO.
I think it's going to
most
be
of
like
them are, but-
Conan.
The
That's what I
Conan
think
the
it's gonna be.
Barbarian. Yeah,
Conan
but-
Oh, okay,
is
cool.
a survival MMO game. That's the
Okay.
same genre, yeah.
Yep, agreed.
Is it the same dev? Do we know?
I don't know.
I didn't look.
I
at the
missed
detail.
that. I missed
I
that.
don't know if it is, but if you
I will
told me
check.
it was, I'd be
I
like,
will
yeah,
check.
that makes sense.
Spoiler alert: you're gonna need a lot of water. So there you go.
Because there's sand everywhere.
Or just the suit that you can pee in and then drink it. That's fine too.
I can't wait for that one. You actually keep the liquid in the knee pads, guys. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh, I didn't know that. Thank you.
Yeah, I can tell you a lot more. Do you all have time?
I'm good.
Where's the? Then you get to build a sweat tent or whatever, like a.
Yeah, sweat tent.
All right.
Whatever they call that thing.
I think it's literally the same devs.
That's Conan.
Is
That's
it really?
Conan.
I thought so.
That's cool.
I got total Conan vibes from every.
You're right. The
interview
visuals
that I
kind of
read.
had similarities too.
Conan.
Yeah.
Conan.
People like Conan. I've never played it. So.
Well,
Conan.
listen up, ponies. DualSense Edge is letting PlayStation finally catch up to Xbox with their Elite controller excellence. It's a customizable controller. You can go on the website to sign up for whatever. I don't know. These have never been my thing.
I'm gonna edge so hard.
These have never been. These have never been my.
Me neither.
Like these Elite controllers, customizable. That's cool that they're making it. I know the Elite controller. A lot of people like. I think Derek, you like yours, but it's never been my.
No, I actually hate mine because it broke after 3 months.
What?
No,
Huh.
I'm not paying that much money.
That's
for
not
it.
very
and
illegal.
how
That's what
much-
you
and
get
how
for
much is
playing
that
in the
thing again?
bathtub.
Yep. The
How much was it,
RB
150,
button,
180?
the trigger doesn't it works, but then it doesn't work. It's not
No, then
consistent.
it doesn't work. Then there's no hit or
Yeah.
miss when it comes to buttons. That's crazy.
Agreed. Agreed.
So I had to stop using it.
And how much was it
That
again?
sounds so elite.
Yeah. Soon,
When it came out, it was like 180. I think I paid 60 for it because I had a bunch of Xbox
But
rewards and stuff.
$100
you
but
spent
it's still-
180s worth.
Yeah, but you
Yeah,
still
that's cool.
spent money that you could have. Yeah,
Yep.
that sucks, dude. I'm sorry.
We got a new gameplay trailer for Kalista Protocol, and there's more stuff about
Dude.
that later in the week as well. Let's do a hype check real quick for Kalista Protocol. Anybody not hyped for this game?
I mean, I wouldn't say I'm hyped for it.
It's
Oh wow,
Really?
that's good.
fine.
Oh, all right.
You can be wrong.
I
Is
mean,
this getting delayed, by the way? You think?
No, there's
I don't
no
know.
chance.
I don't know, guys.
Kyle,
Kyle.
Kyle,
Kyle's still in the I don't know camp.
Kyle,
Maybe you guys can, maybe you guys can
can we
roll
can
back
we
the
mute
tape and
Kyle?
see what I think about
Hold on.
that.
I'm gonna mute Kyle. Hold on, I'm gonna mute Kyle. Ready? I muted him.
Did you mute him? Oh, that is not nice. Kyle's gonna stay muted. He's gonna stay muted. No, we can't hear you. No, we can't. We can't
He's
hear you
saying
because
so
you're.
many racial
it won't let me
slurs right
unmute him.
now.
I know
Like,
he
look
has
at
to
all
unmute
of those
himself.
racial slurs.
Yeah,
that he's
Dan
saying.
actually muted you. He.
I was screaming so many racial slurs.
Yeah,
you know,
so many. So many.
Well, that's why. That's why.
Yeah,
I
I don't want this to get delayed, and I'm going to be the one of maybe two of us that actually play and beat this game, or actually beat this game. So
Could be right.
it's
Could be true.
I'm,
true.
I'm very excited for this game, but
I
yeah,
love seeing the
and
combat in action. That was
I have
cool.
never been
Good.
more excited. Like when he force picked up and threw a dude in
Yeah.
a meat grinder, and I'm like, dude, I'm all in on this. Yeah,
That was really cool.
Just
we finally get this all the melee. The melee looks good.
It looks very gritty, which I think.
yeah, it's gritty, frenetic. Like it's just very yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm really into the graphics and
Just
just
walking
when
into
they,
anything.
when they
Yeah.
talk about the destruction of the bodies of the things that you're killing and how many
Yeah.
different ways that it can you'll never see something get destroyed.
It's
the
just
same
very
way.
random, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think
it's-
there's any reason to think this game won't deliver, but I am curious how it will end up reviewing and what people who
Yeah.
are fans of Dead Space think of it. Like, does it actually deliver? But I think it's safe to be optimistic from everything we've seen so far on this one.
It definitely feels very much like, oh, this is like if that dev still existed, and they just made an actual Dead Space. Well, did they make Dead Space 3 or was that that was a different team, right? That
Might have
made
been a
Dead Space
different
3. It was a different team.
I thought it was Visceral all the way through.
No, I think maybe it was, but
Maybe you're right. I don't.
There's no
didn't-
way
I
to
don't
know, guys. There's no way for us
There's
to
no
find
way
out.
to know.
And we'll never know.
We'll
so.
never know.
But if they wanted to make a next gen Dead Space, is what I was trying to get at then.
So
Yeah.
instead of calling the next game Lords of the Fallen 2, they call it The Lords of the Fallen. Right.
What? They Suicide Squaded us.
They did.
Oh. They
Or
Batmaned
Saints
us.
Row us for that matter. If we're gonna keep going down that path, I mean, they're just kind of in God of War. Let's just give it the new, the same title, and it's a different game. That's fine.
Maybe we'll put the God of War. At the
That
next
game
one.
looks. I mean, again, it's one of those games I didn't see a ton of, but we saw enough to know. All right, dark, gritty fantasy looks difficult. All right, we'll see. We'll see what that one's about. Moving Out 2 is exactly what it sounds like. It's more of that. It looks exactly like the first game. If you liked that kind of multiplayer,
Number
Crazy.
3 in the games I don't care about from this presentation.
that's fair. Only 3 of these that you don't care about.
I'm kidding. No. Like I have a ranking of that. No, I don't.
Oh.
But
You ranked it, of course you did. Yeah.
No. I saw this and I was like, oh, I'm never gonna play this. Huh.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a fun couch co-op game, especially if you have kids. Hogwarts Legacy is still slated for February. That release date was shown again, and then they showed a new story and gameplay trailer. I thought that this one looked even more. We got more shots of like characters and potential for what some of the relationships will be with your main character. And
saw some more dark arts and stuff, and
more dark arts. There's some classes, a lot of combat. So
it's
looking at the end. They were like, "Hey, here's your hippogriff steed or whatever," and I was like, "Whoa, that's gonna be so much fun."
What are the ones called that you only see if you're dead? The kestrels, is that right?
It's something
I
like
don't remember.
that.
So I think that
You're
one
close.
at the end.
I think the first letter might be different, but I can't remember.
Something strolls. I thought so.
Yeah, you're right.
Anyway.
It's
but that's what it was at the end. So maybe you can mount one of those too.
That would be awesome, dude. Like, I mean, that'd be. I already was like envisioning zipping around on your broom and stuff.
Yeah.
But being able to like tame and fly around on a hippogriff, oh man, that's gonna be so cool.
Yeah, this doesn't look
Please
like.
let this game work.
They still haven't shown footage, have they?
I just want it to play really well. It already doesn't look like it's going to be the most, jarring in a good way, like the most exciting visually. Like it looks good, but it doesn't look groundbreaking in its visuals. It looks good, but in a way, it kind of looks a little bit like current/last gen games. Not bad, just kind of doesn't look groundbreaking.
Yeah.
But as long as it plays really well, and I can truly experience the whole Harry Potter verse and be at Hogwarts as a student, and if I can do all that stuff, that's fine, man. Give me
when did this leak? I feel like they've been working on this for a good
forever, dude.
5
years ago.
I think
and
since
it
the
leaked,
Disney Infinity stuff shut down. I think
they like leaked a year before like an actual announcement came out too. So you were hearing about it for like a long time, multiple times, and they're like, "Hey guys, guess what? We're making a game." I'm like, "Yeah, we all know."
Yeah.
we saw the leak.
Yeah, we know. Yeah, we saw it.
Because it was the first main thing after Infinity.
It was someone who was QA testing, like literally took raw data and just like leaked it online.
Great.
Like
Good
it
job,
was
everybody.
actual, like you saw real footage of it. So it wasn't like a verbal leak, like it was a footage leak. So like we knew it existed. So just weird to me.
So a couple years back, I know Derek and I are both really high on the Tales from the Borderlands games from Telltale, and so now we've got
the best Telltale game.
New Tales from the Borderlands is confirmed for October 21st. They got a full trailer, a lot more insight into like the characters and what some of the dialogue and humor will be, and the setting a little bit. So, but I mean, we already kind of knew all those things, but it was just kind of confirmed. Like, yep, this is exactly what I want it to be. It's going to be crazy, wacky. Looks like it'll be fun. And listen, the first series, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if you guys, maybe I'm alone in this, but I thought it actually had some pretty poignant, emotional moments to it outside of just being funny and fun.
It kind of did, yeah.
It was the best story for Borderlands. And I'm not saying that's a high bar, but it was able to take it and not just be funny, but also have like emotions. Whereas the normal Borderlands franchise, like the regular games, they have like decent stories and they have great characters and they're funny, but they're if somebody dies, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, even a character that's been around for
Sure.
a long time, I'm like, okay, that was your big like emotional moment. I don't care about them that much.
Someone's bird died. We're really sad about it.
Yeah.
But then Mickey Rourke comes in and wants his bird.
This game,
I want my
this
blood.
game did a good job of like making you
I
feel
cared about the characters. Yeah, the good voice acting and stuff like that too.
So I'm looking forward to this. This will be a nice change of pace during a ridiculously crowded 3rd and 4th week of October.
I can't wait to have all this time for all these games.
I mean, this October 21st date.
21st itself. And we'll get to that later, but another game is now bumping itself in there because why not? But Dying Light 2 Bloody Ties DLC will launch on October 13th. I think the beta is actually launching soon, but it'll fully release on October 13th. So there you go.
Rob was telling me that they updated, I'm guessing, the console version and made it run better and look better. So they've updated the performance and the visuals of that game too. So they're really supporting. They've always supported their Dying Light games, but
I was going to say that.
This one they're doing a great job with too.
Yep. Yeah, they've got a great track record with that first game of supporting it, not only to make it run well and continue to fix problems, but also to add content. So they've always been great about that for sure. A couple of quick hits that didn't say much about them. Tortuga, A Pirate's Tale, and Marauders kind of looked like multiplayer games. One a pirate game and one like a futuristic shooter with weird masks a little bit. And then they jumped into Destiny 2 Lightfall, which I really thought was a Warhammer 40K thing at first, with like the Space Marine looking armor. It really looked like that to me. But then once they said Destiny, then I had the thought, and it's kind of what Kyle said in our chat too. I had the thought, I was like, oh, of course it's Destiny. Everything that they said and everything the way it looked like, okay, now it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
But anyway, Destiny 2 Lightfall. I didn't get a date on that. Is that this fall?
I thought it was.
Is it February?
Next year? I could be wrong. I don't know.
It could be February. Why not? February 2023. Everything.
Yeah, who cares? Yeah, it's gonna get delayed. Who cares?
If it's not October 21st.
And also, who cares in general? Because it's Destiny 2.
Hey.
I love Destiny.
Yeah.
Hey, Sony owns them now, so we're supposed to care because Sony owns them.
Max.
When did that?
Just booted it up yesterday.
Was Destiny 2 a 2018?
For the first time in years.
I think 2018 game, right? Destiny 2, because 1 was 2014. Does that sound right?
17 or 18,
about right?
right?
I'm pretty sure I was
Came
playing.
out
Yeah.
in 2017.
Man, I have sunk hours and hours into that game.
I played like
I had
the
fun.
first 4 expansions
fun with that
of
game.
Destiny. Yeah.
Shout out to old Frank Clark. He was actually a really good person to run through on that game because he played that game a ton and he was good at
Clark?
Yeah, he was good at it. Actually, Derek and Frank and I did a number of missions and runs on that together. So that was fun.
Yeah, that's a fun one to do.
Because I have the Witch Queen expansion and I never finished it, so I booted it up yesterday to try to finish it.
Yep. I mean, it still has
that
some
game
fantastic
gameplay. I think
so.
that came out the same year as Division 2 because I remember both of those games I was just playing back to back.
Oh, did it?
Hours and hours and hours of.
That would have been 2018.
For first-person shooter, it's one of the best-looking games on PC.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
I'm not gonna say it's the best-looking game.
Yeah.
Because
I think the art design of that game is awesome. Yeah.
But on PC, like when you have like a really nice PC and you're running at high end at 100 frames per second, like it's gorgeous.
Yep. Agreed.
Frames.
Well, then we got a what was a lot of people considered to be their bathroom break of the show, and that was Sonic Frontiers. Which
wow, coming out swinging on that one, huh?
I say some people.
Jeez, yeah, so, no, whatever.
Not me.
So
no,
okay,
you're just the guy who said it. That's all.
I saw a post today from a guy who works with a lot of autistic people, and he was making the post to ask if he saw a great interest with all this autistic people with Sonic Frontiers. So he was making the insinuation that Sonic Frontiers fans are all autistic. I was like, where are you going
what
with
a freaking wild
generalization.
generalization.
What a ride that was just now.
I did not know where you were going, and I loved you.
So, that was a roller coaster.
I was hanging on for dear life for sure.
Basically, I know he wasn't trying to say this. He was asking the question. But basically, if you're autistic, you like Sonic Frontiers. If you're not, you don't like Sonic Frontiers.
So I would say, hey, listen, to be fair, not every autistic person likes Sonic Frontiers, but every person who likes Sonic Frontiers is probably autistic. All right, but
what are the people who like the Sonic porno on DeviantArt? Where do they land? Where do those
autistic?
Are you asking for yourself?
Sonic what?
That's oddly specific. Dan.
Derek's searching for it right now.
You guys know about the Deviant.
So anyway, we got a release date. It's November 8th. We actually got a lot more gameplay, and I'm truly not saying this just to balance out what came out swinging there at the beginning. I really do think it showed much better this time than it did when they originally revealed it. It looks like it has potential to have some fun stuff. It's just, I gotta tell you, the art style choices are just strange. It's got this weird, remember that game Doke V that was announced last year?
Yes.
That had this like Pokemon real world, really intriguing look to it. It looks like that, but with a very cartoon Sonic and cartoon rings spinning around. So it's just kind of, it's very strange, and I'm curious. I am curious what to play like.
There's a style clash for sure.
There is.
Because he's getting thrown into some like alternate, world or whatever. So he's like, know, but it definitely sticks out.
So it almost reminds me of back in the day when they would make those fighting games. There was one I think called, was it Pit Fighter, where they would have like realistic JPEGs of like characters or people, and they'd be like moving around on top of a very cartoony like pixel. Go look. I think it's Pit Fighter. I can't remember which game. It was a Super Nintendo game, but they pretty much had like pictures of people in costume. It looked like.
Well, like the Mortal Kombat games were like that.
Or they were kind of like that.
They did have that a little bit too.
Okay.
So there's something about this that has that weird like.
The fact that it started in the arcade though kind of made us used to it by the time it was.
And
this is just what the movie was. It was took Sonic and put him in the real world. And like the juxtaposition of it's like the funny of it. And I feel like the game developers was like, we're gonna do that.
We're gonna do that.
You know,
We're gonna do
we're
that.
gonna do that because it
But
worked for
more
the
serious.
people like those movies, you know.
Listen,
and it feels that empty of like a concept to me.
after seeing
just my
this
opinion.
showing of it, I feel like this game's gonna land in a solid swimming in sevens. Some people will like it. Like, hey, my kid played it, and I played a level with them, and it was fun enough. It was fine. That's where I think it's gonna land.
Yeah.
I would love to be wrong for it to be better.
I think
than
it'll
that.
be 5s and 6s. That's my guess. That's
Do you
my
think so?
guess.
Could be. It could be.
It really, honestly, to me, depends on because you know what you're gonna get with gameplay. You really do. Like,
Yeah,
they're
it's
not
Sonic.
gonna be able to change.
He's not
they're
going to
be
suddenly
able to
know
change it.
Kung
But
Fu or
if
whatever.
it feels
It's
fast
gonna
and fun,
be-
like
It's gonna come down to how do they utilize this open world? How do
Yeah.
they
Right.
differentiate
that.
it from
Yeah.
all the other Sonic games? Is it going to be like to me? While Odyssey wasn't like open world, when I played that, like I like Mario games, but that was the first Mario game in a long time where I was like, this is awesome. Like
good.
this feels different, but it's still Mario. So if they can pull
Yeah.
that off, where I'm like that's why I was actually intrigued because I was like, all right, I'm not really into Sonic games. I'm not a fanboy for them at all. I think the character looks cooler than Mario, but I think everything else is worse.
Agreed.
But I was like,
Yeah.
if you can make this open world interesting, because I actually like the forest greens. Like that's
Yeah.
my favorite area in open world games to explore is the forest green type areas. If you can make this interesting, I'll buy it, but I'm definitely waiting for reviews.
That's the
I'm
concern,
a
right?
huge
Is
Sonic
they're gonna-
Adventures fan, so like I'm not
Yeah.
against 3D Sonics. You know, like it ain't anything personal. You know, like
That's
I
the
love Sonic
concern,
Adventure 1
right?
and 2. You
Yeah,
know?
that is a concern.
is them trying to make it like Breath of the Wild, but Sonic. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna go in this direction as Sonic, and something cool is in that direction. It's like, well, is there? Like that's
Yeah, it's a ramp. It's a ramp and some
Exactly.
tracks.
Can they answer that
Rings.
question with, is there
Maybe some
actually
coins.
something cool there?
Yep.
Is the
Right.
answer
Yeah, yeah.
yes? If it's no, then this is going to bomb crazy.
Or
Wait.
or does the open world allow you to do some crazy stuff with speed that you can't normally
Right.
do in an enclosed
Right.
space?
You guys, maybe he like adopts, you know, like a surrogate daughter, and like they make a trek across like the land during a zombie-infested land, you know, and you know,
That's
like
what
we
I
never
want.
know. Like,
and in
it
10
could-
years
could-
they remaster it and then they
gonna be
remake
great.
it.
Yeah,
I
and
can't wait for
then
the scene
maybe
where
they
he's
kill
like,
off a beloved character in the second one, and like people
Yeah.
get
Where he's
really
like,
yeah,
hey, you have no idea what loss is. Hey.
yeah,
or however he
all of
talks.
that.
Is that how Sonic-
Yeah. At some point, Sonic says to Tails, "Tails, what you doing with that golf club? It's gonna be great."
Yeah,
Oh, shit.
right. Tails is like,
No,
"This
that's
is
gonna be
for all the
Knuckles. That's gonna
rings."
be
Knuckles. That's gonna be Knuckles.
Yeah, Knuckles is good. Yeah, the aggressor.
Yeah, so
Oh,
I-
no,
listen,
Shadow. I'm wrong.
Dr.
I'm not gonna
Eggman walks
pretend
in, he's like, "This is crazy. I gotta get out of here."
I'm not gonna pretend like I'm hyped for this, but I went from pass to I'm in that meh kind of
Yeah,
like wait and
it's meh.
see phase. So that's where I am on this one right now.
If you're a
Well,
Sonic
consider-
fanboy, you should be excited. If
should
you're
be.
not,
I'm-
you should be an meh.
I'm probably literally not gonna think about it until someone goes, "This is amazing."
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that's kind of where
That's
I'm
fair.
at on this.
'Cause there's- I
especially
mean,
with God of War,
I
the
don't
day
have a lot of
after,
mind
like, who
space right now.
cares?
It's on
Yeah,
November
but-
8th, which is
Yeah.
right after a huge wave of games, and then we have
Yeah.
God of War. So, and we also have Pokemon the next week for those who are kind of the target audiences are similar for
Oh,
Pokemon.
for
According
8-year-olds.
though to sources, Kyle.com, God of War is getting delayed, so we don't have to worry about that.
That's true.
Gotta War I'm iffy on. I don't know if that's gonna get delayed.
Kyle.com.
It's delayed.
If it got
Kyle-
delayed, I wouldn't be surprised. You guys would be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised.
KyleDelay.com.
Man,
Yeah.
we should just make
We
we should just make a website.
We
like,
should make that
that's
website.
Kyle, is it delayed or whatever?
Yeah.
KyleDelay.com.
Is it
Whatever.
delayed?
And like any game title you plug in, like it'll just
it'll just say
turn
yes.
Kyle's
yes.
just like
it's gonna be
delayed. He does the finger
With him
guns,
having a big
delayed.
smile, like
Yeah, it's delayed every time. But anytime it's a no, it won't get delayed. I'm really sad. Like, it's gonna be on time.
came out on time.
It's gonna be on time.
I love
Got
this idea.
Chaos City.
A game from Quantic Dream was announced called Under the Waves, and it looks very kind of cryptic, and who knows what's going on there. But you're definitely living.
But
under
this is like a
the-
Quantic Dream. Was it somebody else too? Was this like a?
So they're
dual-
publishing it, I believe,
Yeah, I thought. Yeah, so I think
Different
another
developer.
dev is doing it, but they're publishing.
because they were
it.
listed
Probably-
second, and that's so either they're co-developing or they're publishing because they were listed.
don't even
second.
And it also makes me feel like they maybe licensed out their like engine, you know,
Could
to like help this. So it's probably going to be a
But there's
Quantic
another-
Dream like game. You know?
Isn't David Cage actually making like a Star Wars game?
Maybe. You know,
Ooh,
I
we
think
got
he's making-
we got
Yeah.
we got a
he's making-
trailer for it, but
I think
like,
he's making 2 games. I think he's doing both Star Wars and something else that they haven't
So,
discussed yet.
Yeah, this
revealed.
is one of those ones that got a cinematic trailer. We can tell that their person's underwater. There's a lot of talking. We don't really know what this game is yet, so we'll talk about that more later. Goat Simulator 3 got a new gameplay trailer and a release date. It's hitting November 17th. No second game announcement though. We're still waiting for Ghost Simulator 2. We'll see if that happens.
Actually,
come out next, I think.
real quick aside that pertains to animals. Have you guys seen anything about this game called Squirrel with a Gun?
Yeah,
I
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just, I mean,
It looks hilarious.
I love
Squirrel with a
titles
gun,
like
man.
that, or like
Yeah,
Vikings.
I don't know.
on
It looks like
I
it looks like I Am Toast level of gaming. but
Sure,
you
I
know
am
what
toast.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Or
was really
that
bad.
one where you're the baby who's trying to get itself killed and the dad's
yeah,
trying to
yeah.
the daddy
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
Who's
yeah.
your
daddy?
side? Yeah.
Who's
Who's
your
your
daddy? Yeah.
It looks
and
like that.
what does he do? Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
Kill It with Fire.
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
that
Like it's
gameplay.
literally made for streamers to stream for an hour or
Kill it
two.
with
You know?
fire.
Which I'm going to do.
So
Return to
Ghost
Monkey-
Simulator, though, I'm getting a sense that it's multiplayer AF, right? Like it's
Yeah.
Yeah, it
there's a
seems
lot, or
more play,
you can
yeah.
recruit. I don't know. Maybe there's some type of recruiting
That was
element.
missing from the first game though in terms of online, I believe. I think it was
Yeah, I
couch
think it was
co-op.
just single player for like an hour. I mean, for me at least, it was like an hour, and then I'm like, all right, I get it. You know.
Yeah, I think it's
samey.
couch co-op, but I don't think you can play online, which was unless you modded it.
This one
whatever.
seems to be like a huge step forward for this stupid ass
Maybe
game.
they'll have a heartwarming story with this one as well.
I hope
Yeah.
so. I hope so.
I hope
I
he
hope
gets a
the-
surrogate daughter and goes across the world.
Damn
and
it,
then when
Kyle.
they get there, they realize that they have to cure. Okay, I'm sorry.
And then the ghost
Damn it.
like, yeah, no, I hate the
What you doing with that golf club?
But as a
well,
sheep
we're,
with
what a template we.
what I mean. That's
Guys,
great.
we should make every game. All
What
right.
Blast of
are you
Ghosts.
doing in that golf club?
What are you doing? What are you doing with that golf club?
What are you doing with that golf club over there?
Just do the Bill Burr's female voice. Oh my
There-
God,
where
what
he
are you
does
doing with that golf
his
club?
wife's
Guy.
voice. His wife's voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he does his
It's
wife's
too
voice.
good. Too good.
Return to Monkey Island got a release date of September 19th. That's pretty soon, and I think that's just Switch and PC for right now. I believe are the two platforms.
I'll play that on PC where I played the original. That's good. That's cool.
So yeah, I expect that to be a fun game. It's one of those things where I never finished the first. Is it 2 games they've had in that series officially? Right.
I think I've only played the first one.
I think
back when
there's
it
Monkey
first came
Island and
out
Return to Monkey Island.
when I was a
thought.
kid. You know.
I think so. Yeah.
Anyway, I
Well, this
never
one's
finished them. I always kind of tried them. Like, oh yeah, these are
Yeah.
point
That's
click
kind of how I
adventure
gamed
games.
back then. Yeah.
But I never finished them, and I wish I would. Maybe I will. It depends on if this one comes out and everyone's like, "Wow, it's an instant classic." Maybe I need to go back and play those. But speaking of games like we talked about, Under the Waves, so Subnautica, the devs did say before this event we're going to announce our new IP. It's called Moonbreaker. It's the one that I think is like a tabletop gaming style
Yeah.
Yeah.
game. Has a very unique look to it. Did not intrigue me personally, but it's very unique.
I
I got to
feel
get
you on
my
that.
thoughts on
Yeah. Not what you would predict from the Subnautica devs at all.
Right.
But they admitted that too. They
They
were like the
created,
game
like,
before
one of the-
Subnautica wasn't like Subnautica. So
They created like one of the greatest fantasy writers to like create a whole like world and lore for them and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and apparently, like
right.
and I don't know his name because I don't read a lot of fantasy.
oh,
books, but, like,
the Wheel of Time guy. Yeah.
was it?
the guy?
Was it that guy's
Yeah,
dead?
it's the guy
but-
who inherited Wheel of Time.
He-
Oh,
He
okay. I was
said
like,
he
that guy
finished
died.
Rehearsal.
But, yeah, okay.
No,
that makes
no,
They
sense.
brought him back to life. It's fine.
Yeah, so like this is like a prolific like fantasy like universe creator who like like the writing sounds like it's gonna be maybe good, but like yeah, I'm with you guys. Like
Or at
I was
least
kind of
the
watching
lore.
this and I'm like, this feels sad to me. I'd just rather go play a board game, you know?
Brandon Sanderson.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
He took over Wheel of Time after the dude died, which George R.R. Martin better get his ducks in a row because that's going to happen for him too.
Well, they.
I actually think he's already dead and we've been seeing a hologram. Because you know what, guys? I don't mean to be the
George
bearer of bad
Lucas in
news. That new book,
disguise.
guys, getting delayed for sure.
They
Book,
showed
it's
a
delayed.
I think they spent too much time on this game too. Friends versus Friends, this really cartoony,
Oh,
violent
man,
shooter with
I tuned
cards.
out on this one. I did not
So
remember this. at
didn't
all.
care about this one too
Don't
much.
even remember that one.
I don't
Yeah,
remember that one, yeah.
but then they showed a lot of Lies of P and showed even more of it later in the week. This is the
This is
one
like
I'm
game of the
probably
show,
coming
it feels
out of
like.
Gamescom being most excited about, at least as far as games that I didn't really have on the radar before this.
It has the most coverage too. Like there is so much
Yeah.
content and gameplay out about this game.
one has
like
dominated Gamescom.
yeah.
So
like,
it's got
everybody
this-
wanted to get in front of it. Like it feels like this was like the big like word of mouth game.
If you're listening and watching and not sure what we're talking about, so Lies of P, it's a dark take on the tale of Pinocchio, which is where, of course, letter P comes from. They just don't want to say Lies of Pinocchio, and I get it. But it's got this Industrial Revolution setting where it's very, I wouldn't even say steampunk. It's very Industrial Revolution. We got robots, and it kind of looks like the one that's about to come out.
I was gonna
called
say I
Rising.
couple Steel Rising with this, except this one. No offense
they
to Steel
both-
Rising, higher
This
quality.
this looks way better. Yeah.
They both use like a gothic palette too. Like
They
the-
do. Yeah, the Gothic Industrial
dark-
Revolution.
Bloodborne-esque, you know.
yeah,
it's like-
exactly.
And we saw a lot of gameplay of this too. It looks very Souls-like. with the combat. I don't know if it actually is a full-on Souls game. Did you guys pick up on that?
I think it is. Yeah,
it feels like it. It looked like it to me.
I think the previews have pretty much just been saying like this is basically Bloodborne.
Definitely
it's
inspired by
Bloodborne plus Pinocchio. That's what I kept hearing. Yeah.
I don't know how hard it is. Did y'all get a gauge for like maybe how tough it is?
It
Like,
looks
I
like
watched
you can take it down pretty quick.
it, and I was sitting there going, dude, this is like chaotic. Like you have these slower, smaller enemies, but they are still consistently moving towards you,
like
while
the
this big gigantic guy's coming at you, and then you have this one on the roof throwing
that sounds very
bombs, and then
Bloodborne,
you have areas to run into, but every time somebody would run somewhere, there'd be another guy. I'm like, man, this is chaos. This is pure chaos.
Chaos.
Yeah, I'm interested. And Derek, as a big fan of From Software games, does this look like a no-brainer day one type buy for you? Because not every Souls-like game is going to hit. But what do you think about this one from what you saw?
I mean, this one looks really, really good. Like really, really good. But as somebody who enjoys, in fact, I did finally put a Thymesia or whatever it's called. I enjoy all the knockoff, rip-off, low-budget ones. I find joy in a lot of them because most of them are decent. But this one looks like it is a small team, so I'm not expecting like a full-fledged like Bloodborne type game as far as hours and details and being as good. But I think they have a shot at making maybe the best, I would say, small developer Souls-like game. To me, the top game, hands down, is Mortal Shell. I'm talking again for anybody listening who's like, no, Neo and Neo 2 are better. I'm talking about lower budget, small developing teams. I'm not talking about AAA.
What about the Surge, Derek?
I enjoyed the Surge for about 3 or 4 hours.
I also liked the Remnant. I thought that Remnant's a good example of that.
Remnant from Ashes. I thought that was awesome.
I think it's pretty fun. And then I also thought, and not everyone loves it, but I thought Ashen was a pretty good game. I actually finished that game. I thought
Ashen. Yeah.
I liked
wanted
it
to try
until
that
I went back to it, and I was like, okay, I'm turning into Sasan. I'm having issues with like how it played. Like it was very.
I was terrible at that game.
All right, so let's move on from Lies of P for now. I'm sure we'll talk about it more as that game gets closer. But that one,
there's a cool story. I hope it's a cool story to that.
Agreed.
We're very P on Lies of P.
Yeah, we all are. So, Stranded: Alien Dawn is a survival.
Is very erect for Les.
Survival RPG.
Erect positivity.
It's exactly what it sounds like. You're in space and you're stranded on an alien planet, and you have to like build up your town and survive. So that's exactly what it's
a building surviving game. Wow.
Yeah,
I don't play those ever.
Never heard of this.
Atlas.
Never heard of that type of game in my life.
Atlas Fallen is a new action fantasy game. Not much to say about that either. They didn't show it for very long. Homeworld 3, I know that there's a lot of fans of that series. I've never gotten into it, but
I thought Atlas Fallen looked cool though. I know they didn't show you like the actual game, but like what they were presenting, I thought was really cool.
Yeah, the setting looks like it could be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what, the gameplay trailer for High on Life has got me excited to play that in December. I think it got bumped to, right?
It'll be a funny game.
Yeah. It looks.
I'm way more excited about the humor than I am the gameplay.
The writing is what I'm on board with for sure.
Yeah, as I watched,
I feel like the shooting
around,
goes slow and weird. I'm not. This is, but like that's what we're there for.
But if it's pleasantly surprising,
talking to you, saying like
it
that
could
hurt,
be,
right? Admit it, that hurt, didn't it? Like that kind of stuff. Love it.
Literally Morty, which I know you guys said that's the voice he just primarily kind of does. That's his main thing. It's literally Morty. Like,
so that one looks like it'll be funny. Maybe not an amazing game, but very funny.
I love when Keeley was like, "So everybody excited for this game? It's from
Justin Roiland."
Roiland. No one knew that.
And
then he's like, Rick and Morty, right? And then he did that too many times. I'm like, stop checking in with the audience, dude. They're checked out, man. Like,
stop checking in with the audience.
German. They're not going to be the same level as hyped as we are.
Yeah, it's funny, but he kept on checking in from time to time, and like it's like they won't stop it. Like
Keeley never gives up. Okay.
Yeah, that's true. He's such a sweetheart.
He's Mr. P.
They had a couple sizzle reels from a couple different companies that I didn't write down all the games. They hopped through mostly games we already know about. Nothing new revealed there. So we'll jump on over to The Expanse, which we saw a lot more footage of. This is a game from actual Telltale, like the new version of Telltale.
The Skybound.
And I got to tell you, I thought the visuals on this looked great. It looks like a totally different engine. It just, I thought it looked really intriguing because I don't know anything about The Expanse. I know it's a TV show and it's got
Sci-fi.
actors.
That's all I know.
Hardcore list of shame show for me. It's one I've always wanted to
It's
start.
one I want to
because-
check out.
yeah.
I might now that this game is getting closer to
Looks
release.
like
But I'll
it's
tell you,
It's amazing.
it looked good. The game looked really good.
It looks
So,
like it's running.
I
Well,
agree.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, this is one of those things they can show us a thin slice and make it look perfect, and it doesn't actually run that way. But I have I have much more confidence in this.
I hope Telltale knocks out of the park, man. I'm
Me
always
too.
cheering
Me
for
too.
that studio, dude.
And the fact that they're slowing things, I mean, they didn't have a choice, but the fact that they're actually slowing things down when they started back up again with Skybound, like, kind of gives me faith that their future games aren't going to be like so hot-shotted to release and buggy.
Dude, do you remember that streak of like, hey, they got Batman, hey, they
Dude,
got Borderlands,
it was Game
hey,
of
they got
Thrones,
Guardians.
Batman, the
Guardians
Tales
of the
from
Galaxy.
I hope we're not
Borderlands,
doing
Guardians
that
of the
because we
Galaxy,
do have the Expanse right now, and we have Star Trek. Like they're already kind of like branching out a bit. So I'm just like, just do those two. Don't announce another one.
Star Trek is people that left Telltale.
Oh,
and, like,
so
started their own.
It's like
team.
Borderlands then, where it's not Telltale. It's okay. Well,
Yeah,
never
it's
mind
like
then. Yeah.
people that left the
for
original
them,
Telltale
then.
to make something else.
So this is
And
their only project.
Yeah, this is the only thing
that
I
we
think
know of.
they've announced.
I didn't realize that the Star Trek game was. Like,
The Wolf Among Us is the other thing I'm working on.
Oh,
that's what it was. Okay.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I am excited for that. I loved that first one.
That first one is awesome.
And it did not wrap up the story, so I'm like, come on, I want more of this.
That's the only reason why.
That's one of
Everybody's
them
like, what
where
the
you
hell?
get left on a cliffhanger.
Big time cliffhanger. All right, so the game that everyone was clamoring for, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the game.
Yeah.
It looks like a Dead by Daylight Friday the 13th thing.
Yeah,
it
it
does.
is. It's an
that what it looks
like?
game?
They're
I
just
think
gonna
the
do that with
general
every
response
horror
to this-
property.
I-
The
I-
general
you know,
response to this was
property.
like, why is this?
Yeah.
happening?
I've seen the movie. It's fun. I grew up with it. No, to this game. Like
No.
Come on, man. Like this is such a
Yeah.
weird. Like I would love to see the sales figures for this game because like I feel like the amount of people who remember that property and the people who game that like
Right.
that Venn diagram does not match up.
Especially
When they
Like,
first
that
started
kind
the
of
trailer. Go ahead, Dan. What'd you say?
No, I was saying especially that's because you're saying it's almost like Dead by Daylight esque.
yeah.
That
looks
sort
like-
of that Venn diagram also.
Oh
it's
yeah, if you add that in, because that's a very new gamer,
Yeah.
style of gaming. So
Yeah.
like old school gamers who would even know that property, like me, don't play games like that because I don't. So-
Yeah, when the trailer started, I was thinking like, oh, like a for real Stranger Things game. Like I wasn't sure because it was very kind of
Yeah. And then they
80s,
showed a
clearly-
clown when they opened the door, and
And I was like, no.
okay, what the hell?
crap.
Yeah.
Is this?
My wife
Um,
would not want to play this game.
Yeah, Dan's wife
Not
is
at all?
out on this guy.
No,
She's out.
she's one of those weirdos that's afraid of clowns. So.
yeah.
What's wrong with
Okay.
her? Clowns are so cute and amazing. All right.
Well, I never said that, but
Scars Above looked really cool, I thought. This action adventure game. Again, one of those games that we didn't get a ton of info on yet again, but we did see what looked like a combination of gameplay mixed in with the trailer on Scars Above. So if you don't remember what that one is, go check it out. I thought that one looked cool. Kind of had a darker, kind of reminded me of like The Arrival, but then turns into more like Alien, shoot all the aliens type of a thing.
yeah.
Like the movie The Arrival. It kind of
Right.
had that vibe at first, and then it definitely grows into more than that as it started to show cuts of like
Zero
combat
sum.
happening.
It
was
looks like
oh.
looks like Lara Croft in space.
Yeah.
Lara.
So I thought it looked
Lara.
really interesting. So Scars
Lara.
Above is on my radar. Another game that we saw zero from, but heard a lot about during the week, and that's I think it's pronounced Weird Song, right? What?
Yeah. Weird song.
Weird song. Yeah,
Weird
weird
song.
song.
But
yeah.
with it's like WY, not the word weird.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Weird Song.
It's the
an
way
RPG.
that fantasy spells weird. Yeah.
There you go. So it's an RPG from a new studio that's got a bunch of BioWare and Bethesda legacy devs that are now.
And Obsidian. Legacy
Oh.
devs. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I
It
guess
should
I
be
just lumped.
dense
I
then.
guess I just lumped everyone from Obsidian to Bethesda. Sorry about that. Yes, and Obsidian too. Yep. So yeah, it's got a great pedigree, but don't know a ton about what the actual game is yet. We just know it's an RPG.
Hey, I got to be honest. I watched a lot of videos. They don't either, but like they're and I don't mean that as a slight. Like they know what kind of game they want to make. It's just about like, and they know the world that they're building and stuff like that. But it's about
Yeah.
the story they want to tell. They're actually like fielding that out to like the community, and they're going to kind of see what people want to play like in an open world game in this kind of setting and stuff like that, and then build kind of a world around like suggestions and stuff.
This
That's
game is
kind of the
coming
vibe I
out
got,
in
yeah.
a long time.
Yeah. Do not expect this game
Yeah.
until we're all like 50. So.
Yeah. Got it.
Which is what like 5. It's like 5 years for a lot of us, right?
So we got a new trailer for Gotham Knights, which by the way has me hyped to get back into that world, and it
Yes.
has me wanting to re-download all. I actually looked to because I
Go get-
own all the
We will-
Arkham games.
We will
on
discuss an Arkham game later. Yes.
I own all the Arkham games on Steam. None of them are even listed as playable on the Steam Deck yet. Although I bet you if I fired it up, it still might work. Sometimes they just haven't tested it yet.
Yeah.
So I might try that out. But man, it just makes me want to go back and play those because the stories they were showing, and they show some villains, and apparently during the week they also showed an actual boss fight with Harley Quinn at one point. And
Yes.
I didn't see that, but I heard that they did that. And so this game I think is showing pretty well. And I understand it's a Batman game without Batman. Yeah, that's kind of the whole story. And so that gives you a good reason to play as these other really interesting characters. I'm kind of excited for this. And the thing that Kyle never predicts, this game got moved up a week.
Oh,
It's releasing on October 21st.
Eat it, Kyle.
No, that's still a delay. Remember, we called it a delay forward, so
It's a delay forward.
Yeah, it still counts, guys.
I actually did put that in the chat. I said Kyle was still right. It was just delayed forward.
I don't think that. I don't.
No,
think
Tim is dad. He said it counts. So sorry, Dan.
I think
superseded
back when
him.
Okay, apparently dads decide words.
Back when Kyle talked about it, I don't think he ever said.
I never claimed this one was.
He just said that it's not
because
going
they
to hit
went
that
gold
date.
too. So.
All he said was it's not going to hit that date. He didn't say which direction on the calendar they're going to
Sure.
go. He just
Check
said
the tape, guys. It's all right.
Yeah.
I'm right.
Check the tape.
Every time.
Because we
every
tape
time I'm
these, right? We tape
Delays
them.
are.
So yeah, October.
I don't know. Do we hang up our phones? I don't know. Okay.
October
Yeah.
21st
All right,
is
see
a
ya.
crowded day, but so is that whole week is too with Mario
Yeah,
plus
the
Rabbids
21st,
and
you got Scorn that day
Scorn.
as well.
Scorn.
So, I mean, it's really a battle of me deciding which one I'm going to play first, and then I just decide to watch a movie or something.
Yeah. Well, and if
God
I know
damn
that I know that you're not a fan of the series and all that's totally fine, but for someone like me, I've got those to consider and Mario plus Rabbids from the day before. So it's a busy.
I actually already did. I already did.
3 days before that is Plague's Tale Requiem.
And Plague's Tale
Yeah, there you
Requiem.
go.
I actually did request. So Plague's Tale comes out on Tuesday. I requested Wednesday through Friday off that week.
Yeah, you're gonna need it, man.
Yeah,
if you
I'm
wanna
gonna need
keep
it.
up with this stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. It's ridiculous.
Bayonetta 3 is October 28th, and then Call of Duty, you get access to the campaign 1 week early.
That could be on the 21st too. if you
Pre-order, so
pre-order.
that's the
Guys,
21st.
there's nothing coming out this fall. There's nothing coming out.
There's nothing.
Sweat.
Man,
There
what a
is nothing
dry
coming
fall.
out this fall. There's only stuff coming out October 21st.
October 21st. That's the day. Not the whole fall. Just that. God of War is gonna announce October 21st. We're just gonna move.
Sure.
Yeah, they're gonna push for it. And
Just
I'll be
so they
right.
can
It didn't
F you
hit it-
guys.
and I'll be right. Didn't hit its date, guys. I'll be right.
They would be
Damn it.
like
Damn it.
the guy who jumped in the pool and just cleared the pool from everyone else. Like they would all be like, all right, we're out of here. We're moving to different dates. Like if they moved to that one. Where Winds Meet to me was another great surprise.
Yes.
Of a, so this
Boy.
looked like this actually. If you guys like the way this game looked, you should check out. I don't know how to say it properly, but I think it's Gujian 3. That it looked a
the
lot
one
like
that,
that type of a game.
Derek brought up.
Kind of had, but a little more Ghost of Tsushima-esque than that one, but still reminded me of that game a lot. But
What
it's
was the name of this game?
Where Winds Meet.
Yeah, that was the one that I saw.
It looks really good.
Yeah,
It looks really.
I think this is another one that people were like goo goo over. Like
Very Chinese.
there's not a lot of more news about it, but like everybody walked away going,
What is
"Whoa!"
this?
Yeah, this looks amazing.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
small dev, they've done nothing before, if I'm not mistaken.
This is their first
Got that
game?
China money. Got that China money.
I think it's like the first
Oh.
game this studio's ever done. So
There you go.
we'll see what they're made out of here. But like it
you
looks
go.
really ambitious and very pretty. I thought the trailer was wonderful. I think there was like
Same.
an ease. It looked very traditional Chinese at first.
Yep.
And then it kind of bled into really mythological themes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
A lot of
like,
fantasy
it's just
elements towards the end. There,
very
for sure.
much
Interesting
so.
seeing
Yeah,
these Chinese games using sort of their culture and their like the stories that of their history, and it's because we're so used to seeing more like from the Japanese side, right?
Yes.
So now we're
Yeah,
seeing like these
yeah.
bigger Chinese developers coming out and they're kind of telling their
And
stories.
I love it.
They've
China.
been releasing games.
China.
I'm not talking about this developer, but Chinese
Yeah.
games have been releasing games for a long time. They've just now gotten it to where they're more accessible for us.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah.
why
Right.
you saw Swords and Fairy. This is the
Oolong.
7th game, but now it's actually being talked about, being brought over to the PS5. Stuff like that. Even Gujan 3. The reason I bought it was super cheap, but the reason I bought it is because I started reading about it. I'm like, oh, it's been Americanized. I can
Mhm.
play this.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's what they're getting really good at. And this game, I just read real quick, is PC only. So it sounds
is,
like
yeah.
the same thing. It's Chinese developers. that are probably going to Americanize it a little bit, but it's PC only. So suck it, console boys.
I
think this one's going to be good.
China.
China.
That's my contribution.
By the way, with the Trump impersonation, Jeff shared this. Can we just all pause and admire Jamie Foxx for a second? That dude can do everything.
He can't do a bad impression. I swear to God.
His impression of Trump was perfect.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, dude. It was like,
excuse me.
Yeah.
Like,
he was so
good.
He does a great. I remember he was on like Jimmy Fallon. That's where he kind of spews most of the. This was years ago. He spews most of his impressions, and he just started doing an impression of John Legend. And he was in a side project with the Roots, and the Roots are Fallon's house band, and they are laughing their ass off because he is nailing the John. Like he's nailing it, and like
he's good, man.
Man.
He's too good at too many things.
Yes, yeah.
But at least he's not. At least he's not a super handsome man. That's the good thing. At least he's not.
Goodness.
Or
muscular.
Or muscular.
Can't have everything.
The developer for Where Winds Meet is Everstone Studios, but they are being supported by NetEase Games.
I don't know either.
And that's one. NetEase Games is like they're almost kind of like that. What's that other big company with China? The
China.
Tencent.
Tencent. A little bit kind of that. I don't think they're as big as Tencent, but they're like one of those big conglomerates.
Nobody's bigger than Tencent.
Yeah. It's one of the most ironic names for a company too.
Right. You think all they do is mobile games and that's it.
I know. Park Beyond is kind of like a theme park looking simulator game. If you like those kind of amusement park, it looked like a 2-point type of a game, but amusement park. That's kind of what it looked like to me.
But it did with more perspectives than just top-down building stuff.
Yes, a little more roller coaster tycoon. But 2 points.
This looked interesting, because I liked that newer one that came out recently. That the name's escaping me.
You mentioned, I think you mentioned it on here. Playing.
Yeah, because there's a zoo one too. Planet Coaster.
Yes. Planet Coaster. Yep.
And then Planet Zoo. Anyway, and then they showed this game called Blacktail. So at first I thought, hey, this looks all right. It's a first-person bow and magic game. This looks kind of cool. And then I saw that this is actually the story of it, similar to like Lies of P, where there's an actual legend a lot of us have heard of before, but it's their take on it. This is the legend of the Baba Yaga.
Oh,
myth.
Cool.
And it's like how the sister, or like there's something with her being a magic user or something that gets her outcast or something, and it just looks really interesting. And I rewatched the trailer for it after that, and I was like, all right, now I'm in. Blacktail looks pretty cool, so I'm excited for that one. And I do like first-person bow and arrow combat like that. I enjoyed Far Cry Primal. I know a lot of people didn't, but I liked that game. I liked the gameplay of it. And so
I
just did the only thing I
favorite, but I did finish it.
The only thing I didn't like was that I didn't like that literally any corner you jump around, something could kill you right away because there's so much freaking wildlife in that game.
Yeah, but hey, once you get your wildlife buddies, like I had a cave bear and I never had to worry about that.
Cave bear.
Phantom Hellcat. They showed it really briefly, but boy, did I get some strong cool Spider-Man meets Death's Door vibes from it. And that's kind of what they're saying they're going for, which is great.
Yeah. I love the combat stuff in this.
So Phantom Hellcat got one of the shortest trailers of the show. It was shown so briefly.
Mm-hmm. But all it was gameplay.
Oh, this one,
was gameplay. It was shown real briefly.
Like top down, or
isometric,
melee based.
Yeah.
You it's got a sword and you can teleport too.
Near inspired, it says.
Yeah, near inspired. Yeah, right. I could see that too.
Oh yeah, that will definitely be great.
Yeah, it will.
Good job. Yeah, good call, Derek.
That is correct. Thank you.
Outlast Trials. If you want to cry, I guess you could play that.
Or shit yourself. If you got a fresh pair of pants to crap in.
You're not gonna give me a gun. I have no interest in you.
New trailer, beta coming soon. Those games never really appealed to me. That's fine. They're not for everybody. The finals had this game show style, like kind of Running Man-esque multiplayer shooter vibe.
Oh. Okay. I was trying to remember what the comparison was to. It was like Running Man. Yeah. They nominated me. They're going to kill me.
They described it as a game show. What if multiplayer shooter was a game show? Like that's how they described it. So that's kind of the vibe they're going for with the finals. Then the final thing they showed was a new cutscene trailer for the finally announced Dead Island 2.
Dude, yeah.
And so first of all, I just got to say the Dead Island games, even for the first version of the second one that didn't come out, their initial reveal trailers are amazing.
Yeah.
The trailer for the first one is still one of my favorite trailers for
Dude,
any.
literally
Probably
Goat
the
Simulator
best ever.
3 copied it, like practically.
And then that's the second one. The second trailer is awesome too, with the guy running and all that. Like that one took a more funny.
Sure,
the first
yeah,
one
yeah.
was like
Yeah.
the first one was like a gut punch, like like,
okay.
Yeah, it was
sad.
emotional.
And of course, the game itself,
Emotional.
nothing like that, but it was still a great trailer. And then the
it
second,
wasn't even in the field of like
not even close,
Yeah.
not even close.
the
But
biggest rug pull in the industry. Man.
but then the second one kind of embraced more of like the hey, this is wacky, silly, crazy
Yeah.
zombie stuff, and so they did a good job with that trailer, even though the game never released. Gave Goat Simulator 3 something to work with.
Yeah.
Um,
8
and
years
then
later,
this trailer also, at first I thought maybe this is a Lenny Kravitz simulator, and I was all in on.
Yeah.
But it is not that.
Yeah.
big
Gotta go
American
my
woman.
way.
Yeah, Tim Woman's a big American woman fan.
Yeah, big time. No, I just really liked his character Cinna from the first Hunger Games. I thought he was great.
Oh, yes.
I don't
Okay.
know.
Sure.
No,
you
I
did.
forgot
No,
he
you
was
did.
in. I
Come
forgot
on.
he was in
I
that.
mean,
It's funny. We
He's
just
he's nothing in that those
I
movies.
know.
Come on,
He's
dude.
he's
his
not a
daughter is really talented. Where do you want to
good
go
actor.
with
His daughter's
this,
great.
guys?
His daughter's great. He's not a good actor. We actually just recently watched all 3 of those movies, and I was like, oh yeah, Lenny Kravitz had a role.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Right.
and somehow Philip Seymour Hoffman's last like thing he did was one of those stupid ass movies.
And by the way,
dang it, I'm so mad about
Good job,
that.
guys.
But you know what? He's
Those
still
movies
great in
killed
it
him.
though. Like he's still great in it though. Like even though that movie isn't the best, he's great in it.
I think everybody, even the director, delivers. Like the movies are beautiful, but they're not great. Like
Right.
they're just
Agreed.
not.
Agreed. So anyway, the surprising thing with Dead Island 2 is that it's got a February 3rd release date. I thought it would
Yeah.
just say it's like
I guess those
2023
leaks
or something.
were dead on. Then that's pretty
February
impressive.
3rd release.
And they
date.
showed a good chunky slice there of gameplay.
Well, yeah. After that, they kind of did this whole tease, like, well, should we show gameplay? I don't know, should we? And then they did. And so they showed some gameplay, and it looks like a Dead Island game, just like a more modern version of it. And so, there you go, Dead Island.
LA.
I feel like
And this one could work, you know?
trailer, it solidifies that they are trying to go to a more arcadey, goofy style compared to because
Like Dying Light. It's not like Dying Light.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's
There's
the
going to be
same
no
developer.
parkour, you know. It's going to be.
Well, yeah, it's not a Techland game anymore,
Boots
so.
on the ground, you know, like action-oriented game, you know.
It makes sense to me. It's a different developer. They did Homefront.
Yeah, everybody's favorite game.
Revolution.
Yeah.
That's the only other thing they've done before.
Gigantic flop of a game.
Yeah.
It's so
Well,
good.
that kept getting delayed. I think too, and then like moved around to different teams. So.
Well, the thing is that's what happened to this game. You know, like the original
Techland
developer
was supposed to do it.
The original developer was the people who did Spec Ops: The Line, so it was gonna be this like really gritty, like you know, which is funny because when you saw that trailer, like the goofy one, it's like, oh, that trailer was really goofy, and then they announced the developer, and you're like, wait, they did Spec Ops: The Line, which is like one of the darkest video games ever created.
So serious, yeah.
And it was like 2 or 3 years in, they totally bounced out. They're like, we don't want to make this game anymore.
Well, there's more headlines that are connected to Gamescom, but that was the last big thing from Jeff Keighley's set of announcements at his show, the opening night live. But we did hear things like, for example, Lies of P, the game we talked about, is going to be on Game Pass, so that's awesome. I still don't think we have a release date for it, though, do we?
No.
So
and they didn't even
It's
say
just early 2023.
2023. Okay.
And they didn't even say if it was day one Game Pass. They just said Game Pass. It was
I
like
think
on
Game
one of the
Pass.
banners at one of the Microsoft booths.
I think it's safe to assume that's day one, but on the other hand, they would have said it. I don't know. It's coming to Game Pass. It's coming.
They didn't even say it during the opening night live, strangely. So I was really odd.
Obsidian, speaking of which, we talked about them a few minutes ago. They have this new murder mystery adventure game called Pentiment, which has a really unique art style. If you haven't gone to check it out, you can go check that out. But that's coming out this November. That's hitting pretty soon. Also, we'll be on Game Pass, right? Since they're owned by Microsoft now. Isn't that a thing? Am I right on that?
Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
And then, so I didn't see you read any of these. Who added this? Phil Spencer's latest comments about what? What is this?
Just in general, because he was doing press for Gamescom, so like he was just providing a lot of insight about the industry in general that I thought was interesting.
Okay.
Like he mentioned that platform exclusives will become, in his opinion, he thinks they'll become less common because multi-platform is better for the industry. I just don't see that going down. Like Sony is just not going to give that up.
That's his way of saying, I want Game Pass on all your consoles. That's kind of
Yeah, but I think he's always talking 10, 15 years ahead.
He is.
Sure.
Oh, okay.
He's never talking like remote.
2 years from now, like
And also in positive news, it sounds like he does not want to do the bullcrap crypto NFT stuff, NTF,
Good.
whatever the hell it's called, that other developers are doing. He's like, I'm not into that at all.
Like,
That's great.
that boat is sinking. I'm not going to get on it.
Thank goodness.
No,
And he also said that he suspects the supply chain issue with consoles will continue into next year. He thinks that the demand will once again outstrip the supply this holiday season, and then in 2023, once again, it'll be impossible to get those consoles.
These systems. It's not a thing that you can do.
It's going to be worse, basically.
And yet their sales numbers are still crazy. So that just means that overall demand is higher.
They are becoming, as somebody who's always deal shopping, so I'm always on slick deals every day. Every day I see a post saying Walmart has them, PlayStation Store has them.
They
GameStop
get them.
It's
just
I'm just saying,
quantities,
want them.
They go.
It's getting easier to go get it. Is all I'm saying. No, you're not going to walk in a store and find 50 of them on the shelf, but
at the rate that they're selling, I feel like the demand's just higher overall for this generation for these consoles compared to previous ones. Because I think they're still outselling previous gens, aren't they? Aren't they both outselling? Yeah. But they're still not available, so it's like the demand just must be way higher.
Right, and it's not a COVID thing anymore. People aren't buying it because people are stuck inside. Yeah. Like people genuinely want these systems.
Most of us are gamers now. The whole thing that this is a minority is bullshit. Like a lot of people game.
Agree.
A ton, way more than I expected, honestly. Because I see movie reviewers chime in with like, Death Stranding's a masterpiece, and I'm like, what are you talking about? You?
No, he's right. That person's right. Yeah.
No, it's just no.
I'm not. I didn't say you weren't saying that, but yeah, I'm just. I'm just saying he's right. Yeah.
It's funny you say that too, because even on, I actually just listened to part of, because I was fascinated by the guest. Joe Rogan had Mark Zuckerberg on, and I was listening to part of that conversation.
We're going all in on meta.
It was
my favorite part is when he pulled his mask back on his face.
It's a fascinating conversation for real. Like I know it's easy to it's low hanging fruit, easy to make fun of both of them. I get it, but like interesting conversation. And they both game. Like just you said everyone games. Like both of them talk about not a ton, but like even Zuckerberg kind of references how VR is mainly for gaming and he prefers single player games. Like they just talk about gaming too. Like everyone games.
That's interesting.
So anyway, I just thought that
reminds me of Zuckerberg, he makes money off gaming, so it makes sense that he would talk that way. I'm not saying he's not a legit gamer.
Oculus is another device that can't stay on the shelf, like he's got quite the ace in the hole in his box.
Yeah, apparently he brought their prototype for the follow-up to Oculus 2 and was letting Joe mess around with it and like visit Rome in it and stuff like that. Sounded pretty cool.
Whoa, that's cool. Yeah. Also, like people, I can't even get like Oculus 2s right now. We're talking about Oculus 3s, and they've been talking about the Oculus 3 like since last year.
Yep.
That's a really quick moving industry, guys. That VR stuff.
I just bought 2 for Resident Evil. They got me on Resident Evil 4.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I love my Oculus too.
I've been looking for headlines on that interview with Rogan had with Zuckerberg, and
there wasn't a whole lot there.
All I could find was Zuckerberg was just promoting Meta, and that's about it. Like I VR and Metaverse.
Those conversations are so freaking long, but I haven't listened to the whole thing. But they haven't gotten into anything beyond just like.
Yeah, it's not Rogan going. So Facebook's spying on people, right? Like he's not like taking.
No, there's.
I mean, he might get to that. He usually does at some point in those conversations.
He does talk about the election and how the FBI actually reached out to Facebook and said,
there you go.
"Hey, don't talk about this."
Got it. Okay, I haven't gotten to that part. They've mostly just talked about, and then Zuckerberg starts talking a lot about jujitsu, how he loves to be so active. And in my mind, I'm going, he's like, activate program, sound like human who likes activity. Yeah. Like
copy program, Joe Rogan likes jujitsu, I do too.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like, man. That's what it sounded like.
Does he ever get to the part where he talks about how he keeps banning Derek from Facebook? Or
he did talk about Derek. He said, I've been banning his comments from months ago.
Okay, he's not in the metaverse yet. He's not that elite, but
he keeps changing the A to an @ sign, and I can catch that. So I can still catch that.
You mean you guys can figure out what I'm spelling when I just change
those are words? Oh,
I had no idea.
I know. We're all code breakers over here.
Anyway, that's all I got on the Xbox.
We gotta. Keep it moving here with Disgaea 7 getting announced for January 26th. I know that's pretty niche RPG for a lot of folks, but it's coming to Switch in Japan. People are assuming because it's a hit over here, it'll make its way to North America sometime next year as well.
I've never heard of this. It's a hit here. What is this?
Disgaea.
Disgaea is it's pretty niche, but it's been around for a while.
They were PS2 games originally, right?
Oh,
the big craze.
The first one was
They've
been around forever,
but they're not like well known as far as like
they're like Shin Megami Tensei level, right?
I was gonna say I would even say Persona, maybe not Persona 5. Like Persona 5 brought it to a whole new.
I thought you were
like,
talking about more
Persona.
gameplay. Sorry.
Persona 3 and 4, like it's that level of popularity.
It's that level of I think it's got a huge fan base.
I got to do some research after this.
But
it's
I mean, it's a turn-based strategy RPG.
It's
oh, well,
like
I gotta sleep.
I gotta sleep after this. All right. PSVR 2 is going to release early next year, they say. Playable first time at TGS. We'll see what happens at TGS. Let's take a look at TGS. We'll see.
Not much is going to happen.
Don't hold your breath on that.
They're
being launched October 21st.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
Either that or February 3rd. Those are the two options. Gravity Rush film and development. I mean, okay, that's not an IP that I would have thought.
Yeah, I don't know why Sony is just left and right making.
I think it would be for the visuals, like the ability to basically turn the world on its axis.
The game didn't sell well, so who's the game for?
Well, that's important. That's the thing. It's unfortunate.
You're right. The concept works, but the popularity doesn't make sense to me.
Well,
even though I think it should be popular, I think their games are great, actually.
Yeah, I love the second one.
Really cool world. Cat's a really cool character. I think it actually, if you did almost like Into the Spider-Verse, like that art style, something like that, I think that would actually be.
Well, that's the thing, though. They didn't even say if it was going to be live action or animated. They just said,
here's
an American director, and here's so
I hope
we know it's a
live
Western
action,
adaptation.
And I hope they cast Scarlett Johansson and Matt Damon as the two.
Oh my
God. Matt Damon. He
wants to talk to you guys about crypto.
So the showrunner from Umbrella Academy, his name is Steve Blackman. He's going to be developing this Horizon Zero Dawn series because Sony just wants to keep making film and TV adaptations of all their properties.
I think it's interesting that their most popular franchises they're making shows, and then their least popular let's just make a movie.
Yeah, it seems safer.
I do wonder if it's less of a commitment in some cases.
Yeah.
It could be less of a commitment in some cases.
I'm wondering if it's also just they're hey, for the ones that are a little bit more complex and more popular, we want to be able to flesh this out.
Yeah, like
turn into a brand or a series. Yeah.
Whereas even Uncharted is technically popular. I could see how Uncharted fits more as a movie than a series.
It is a movie. Like Uncharted
those are
a
movies.
Yeah. They are cinematic, experiences.
I want them to make a Gran Turismo movie starring Aaron Paul because he's got a good track record with racing.
Guess what? He's
going to pull up. I guarantee you, the movie's going to end him pulling up next to the main character and going, "You want to ride?" or whatever, kind of like the end of Tokyo Drift or whatever.
I never saw.
Actually, I think he's going to pull up and say, "Do you have a Need for Speed?" And it's going to be a crossover. It's a Need for Speed Gran Turismo crossover.
And then he's going to wink at the camera.
Much like
we
Kong
talk
versus
about
Godzilla.
Wreck Nation
or Godzilla versus.
Did any of you guys check out Wreck Nation? Any Burnout fans?
Wreck Nation actually looked really good. The video I watched, the frame rate and everything looked really weird and stuff like that. But if you're pitching me a Burnout game, I'm all in on it, and I'm sure it doesn't look.
I watched the developer interview, and so I haven't gotten to really watch a lot of gameplay. But the way he was talking about, we love Burnout. Yeah. This is what we're doing.
It is Burnout. That's what it is.
It's a crossover between Need for Speed and Burnout. And I'm like, I'm all in.
Well, I
love arcade racers. Yeah.
We talked about the difficulty of getting some of these next-gen consoles. Well, the good news is if you can't get one, you can also now pay more for one for the PS5 because it's going to be increasing, it sounds like, in every major market because
Not here, though.
Because
Not
of
here.
inflation.
Yeah. Not here, though.
Parts of USA, right?
We have inflation here too. I don't know.
USA,
like Canada,
like Canada, yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah.
My bad.
Well, they're
North America, but not the United States.
Okay.
Yeah, they're trying to prevent rioting. They know how we are. We'll just
Americans are very ignorant and angry, and they'll just start knocking shit over. And
that's what we do. We're like,
we'll just steal all the PS5.
I don't like that. Let me destroy my town. That's how we do.
I really felt super entitled when this news came out because people were really mad, and I'm like, I've got one. I don't really care.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat.
And people are really mad, which I get if you don't have one. You're like, what the? I have to work harder and pay more.
To be fair, most of us, not all, of us, of course, but most of us that got one right away, we paid some type of inflation price too. Like I ended up having to buy a bundle.
The bundle, yeah.
And then when I bought my second one for my son, I had to pay an extra 100 to buy
You
it
got
from
a
another
second
guy.
one?
I got
Like
lucky.
the
I
glitch.
didn't have to buy a bundle or anything like that. But like it,
Yeah,
I
I
bought it. I got it months after some of you guys.
Some people
so,
can't even
you
get
know.
one, and Derek's
Yeah.
talking about getting a second one.
Yeah, I know.
White
yeah.
privilege.
Well, I will say that this
Yeah.
this news did cause other both Xbox and Microsoft and Nintendo to say, okay, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they
Which
had
was
to
pretty
clarify.
cool. Yeah, we're never gonna do that. That's stupid.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
It's kind of like
So,
when
instant bounty points for that.
I do like when that kind of stuff happens, like when Sony decided to say, "Here's how we game share," and they handed the disc to each other. Do you remember that?
It's a
Yeah.
dagger,
I
dude.
totally-
Like,
Shuhei,
because
yeah.
Microsoft
I
said
love
it
that.
first, and it was really quick. Like they were very quick to make a statement. They're like, it was like an hour later. They're like, "Oh, we're never gonna do that."
Yeah.
So it really felt like and then Nintendo jumped on like a day later, like, "Yeah, that's stupid," you know.
Yeah.
So I think it's super cool that
I think
that they did that.
Nintendo only responded because they were asked. I don't think
You might be
Nintendo-
right. Yeah, they may have been asked in an interview.
They
or
were
something,
were pinged by people like, "Hey, do you have something to say about the price increase?" And they're like, we have no plans to do that.
Yeah, they haven't had a price decrease like ever.
It's-
So
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
like
good.
you guys have been paying $350 for this system that came out 6 years ago for a long time now.
Yeah,
so
it's
we're
true.
not gonna
Why-
change
why
that.
would
You
they?
pay 300 too.
this bump up is very stupid though. Like that's
Yeah.
just they're
I'm
just-
sure there's some sort of reason that we don't maybe fully
12.5%.
grasp, you know, like
Well, it's
so
I
Listen,
hope they gave their employees that much of a raise in some
I'm not
areas. I mean,
saying
Totally
I'm
they
not
did.
saying that businesses are not experiencing inflation, but I am going to tell you that everybody is using inflation as an excuse to
Yeah.
make more money. So
Absolutely.
even
Oculus-
if they're not experiencing an increase, they're still saying, because of inflation, we have to charge you more on your electric bill. Because of inflation, we got to charge you more on your water. Because of
It's just
inflation, and so
everything.
on. So
It's
that's
everything.
what all of them are doing, and I think
Yeah.
Sony is
It's
jumping
so
on
annoying.
that.
I would-
It's like,
Oculus
you
2
could not, and that would resolve inflation.
No,
Like,
it-
I mean,
Yeah.
it would literally just keep your
I
prices
would love it though
the
if
same.
Sony's statement would have included like, well, it's the Putin price hike. So we got the
Yeah,
Putin
right, right.
PS5 price hike.
Putin price hike,
but
the
Oculus
PP
2 just
the
did this a few weeks
PPH.
ago, where they raised their prices, you know, by $50 or whatever. So like, you know, it was
Listen.
you know, 2 consoles in, you know, it became a trend. So
I actually didn't know about the Oculus.
yeah, the price went up like sometime in August. Yeah.
Dan, what'd you
Maybe
say?
it was because I already have mine and I just don't care.
It's
Yeah,
very.
You know,
it's
I
very
bought one
PS
and I really don't care. Sorry, guys.
What'd you
It's
say,
very
Dan?
PS3 energy, like when
It
they
is
were just like,
PS3
"You'll get a
You guys are
second
just
job,
privileged.
$5.99 $99
You're just so
Yeah.
privileged. Oh my god.
It's like it's one. Listen, all of this sucks, but it's like you accept it because it's like, for example, with groceries. Well, you need to buy food.
Yeah, what
'cause
can you do?
you
What can you
can't
do
do it.
about it?
But,
Nothing.
like,
you can just
they-
whine, but nothing.
These
And that's
gas
why they
prices,
raise the
okay?
prices.
Don't
They
drive,
know
you know?
we will
Yeah,
buy them.
yeah,
Well,
just
guys,
kinda-
listen, they're
you have to bend
balancing this
over
out
sometimes.
with the amazing news that Hogwarts Legacy will have a PlayStation exclusive quest. So there's the balance of
There
those
you go.
two.
That's
we
worth
go.
the extra 30.
There we go. That's what they're charging for.
That's what the extra money's for. Yeah. It was all that money that's going to WB.
It comes on the system, right? It's on.
I'm
the
sure
system.
people will be very rational about that news once it picks up more steam.
That's probably the fault of the new Discovery CEO guy who's doing all that stuff at WB, right? It's his
It could
fault.
be.
Yeah.
The guy
No
who's like
problem.
just butchering HBO
Yeah.
Max. Yeah.
He's destroying everything. All right.
Call it the Discovery Putin pay raise.
Discovery Putin tax.
On August 31st, Sifu is going to be getting a summer update, which is going to essentially make things easier. It sounds like,
Yeah,
or
much.
at least give you,
There's a
it's going
god
to give
mode,
you
yes.
modifiers if you want to make things easier. I should
Oh,
say
cool.
that.
Because
It's
I
not
just
gonna
bought it.
make the game easier.
I just bought it a second ago, literally, as we were discussing earlier.
Oh man,
Yeah.
Dan, you're
You're gonna
gonna
have a good
it's fine.
time.
You're gonna have a good
And
time.
you'll
with
beat
that.
it.
It's
You'll
so
probably
good.
put it on
It's fine.
master and beat it.
I
You
think
know,
it's
so.
I'll let you guys know how to play the game. So
I mean, I won't listen, but I hope you enjoy it.
I'm going to keep rolling
Bro,
here.
if you stream Soul Hackers 2, I'm there. If you stream Sifu, I'm not.
Dude,
I'm gonna
we're gonna get to Soul Hackers
I'm
2,
gonna
and
keep
you
moving.
guys
I'm
are gonna love it.
I'm going to keep moving. Coder
I'm gonna keep moving.
remake is moved from Aspire Media to Saber Interactive. And
Yeah.
so
Both
it's
are.
still
Kyle,
happening.
you were saying that both are kind of small devs out of their depths, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
That's not necessarily great news. It's
yeah.
like, all
So
right.
it feels
Nah,
like a
dude,
lateral move.
Yeah,
like
this
it-
is not an upgrade. Yeah, this is very much a lateral move. So
So
You
Good
do
luck.
realize
still
this is Star Wars, right?
there's-
Like they're
no, but it's not just Star Wars. It's literally the most beloved time history of Star
That's true.
Wars.
Yeah.
Knights of the Old Republic got a lot of people in Like, you know,
It
the
got
people
me.
playing that
I'm
game
not a Star
was a
Wars
lot
guy.
of Star Wars, like,
Considered by
people's, like,
many the
first
best
thing,
Star
you know.
Wars game.
So like, this is something that, like, and I know people would like go crazy over this. Like, you give this to EA, who has money, to give it to a studio who can actually fund something like this, or give it to a BioWare who did it originally. You know, like, it's like you need a big studio with a lot of money to pull off something like this. Like,
Right.
it's
if it was
crazy.
a remaster, then sure, but if it's a
Yeah,
remake, it should have gone to
absolutely not.
BioWare.
It's crazy. I'm gonna stay tuned. I'm gonna try and stay positive about it. But, like, you know, I'm watching this, and
a long way away, so I'm just gonna wait until we see some stuff. This game's a long way away.
Take a Sonic Frontier approach to this one. Forget about it until someone says something good about it. You know.
Well, the writer from Logan and Blade Runner 2049, two fantastic films, and I believe the director from I Am Legend and the Hunger Games movies, I think I'm getting this correct, they're set up to do this live action version of BioShock. So
it's a movie,
so it's a good pedigree going into telling a very compelling story. This one, I know it's easy to make fun of these adaptations. I'm actually kind of interested in this.
I will follow.
It'll look good. It'll look pretty. I know that much.
Well, and it should have some good writing and some good
writing too.
Good
source material to, like.
I swear to God, if it's
like really working.
If it's like the cast is Jared Leto, I'll be like, son of a bitch.
Yeah. Dude,
Jared Leto's Big Daddy.
It's gonna be Chris Pratt.
Jared Leto. No, it's Jared Leto's little sister, whatever the little girls are. You know,
it's gonna be Chris Pratt.
Hold on, spoiler alert though. I'm sorry to
Triplet.
spoil the movie for everyone. There will be a lighthouse in it.
Oh, what, Dan?
Oh man,
dude.
Sorry.
All right. All right. So let's jump over. Let's wrap things up with anything that's not a new game, or we already kind of covered that at the beginning, but anything that you just wanted to mention. Hey, I'm playing this now, or here's some stuff that I'm watching. So we'll wrap up with this. I got a couple quick hits, and I'll throw it to whoever else wants to share. I did get Game Pass working on the Steam Deck with a big caveat. Can't download anything on there. I'm sure you could if you really get into the system and do all kinds of crazy stuff in Linux OS, which I'm not familiar with. But there's a very basic way with some good instructions right from Microsoft about how to download Edge and then essentially set it up where it will launch right to the cloud version of Game Pass. You can log in and then you can launch it from, once you get that set up, it takes like 20-30 minutes, especially if you have a keyboard, makes it way easier. Get a USB keyboard and plug it in, makes it way simpler. You just type in a couple commands. It tells you where to go to type those in. You don't have to be some kind of crazy coder or programmer. It'll tell you, click on this, go here, type this in, hit enter, go here, type this in. So I just followed the directions, had no idea what I was doing, and it works. Like it takes you to their cloud service, which works on Microsoft Edge. Again, it's cloud-based, so take that with a grain of salt. It actually worked pretty well for me when I was sitting right beside using the Steam Deck, sitting right beside my router down in the living room, and I played Sea of Thieves on it while my son was on the Xbox on the TV. We sat there beside each other playing it, and it worked. Like it was a little janky. I had to kind of adjust a little at times, but for the most part, it worked and it ran smoothly. I tried a few other cloud-based games, and I was able to try like Forza, and it doesn't take up space on your system. The battery life is really high on those because it's not like if you're playing Spider-Man on there at decent settings
on your
it'll say, oh, your battery life at 90% is down to an hour and 10 minutes, and it's like, geez, this game is taxing. But if you're playing on the cloud, playing Sea of Thieves or Forza, which should be really taxing, I have like 4 or 5 hours of battery life.
Nice. It's like streaming a movie. It's not
because it's just watching a movie basically on there. So take that with a grain of salt. It's not going to work perfectly, but I like that they set it. And Microsoft was like, here's how to do this. Like they put out this official step-by-step how to do this. So
they keep improving.
I love that, and I love that Steam didn't turn them down for that. Like Steam kind of had a feeling people would do this stuff, so they were just kind of like, whatever. You know,
they knew that they were gonna
make it easy.
Okay with it.
Yeah, make it an app.
The only thing I really want on it is the Switch, and I'll admit I'm just not good at that stuff. I tried to get the Switch emulator on my RTX 3090 PC, and I got confused, and I was just like, damn it, I really want to see Xenoblade Chronicles 3 at 4K 60 frames per second, because I saw it on YouTube, somebody playing, and I was like, oh, this is what I want the world to look like. It's such a great looking world, but when you're playing in 360p
2p
so much p. That's so much p.
It's not enough P, actually. It's actually not enough P.
I wanted to mention, speaking of Switch, I did finish Monster Hunter Rise, the main game of that. So like all the hub missions, which basically means you can continue. If you've ever played Monster Hunter games,
they go on forever, right?
They go on forever. You can keep going. Like your hunter rank keeps increasing. You can keep doing more challenging versions of monsters you've already beat. Like you can just play that game forever. So, but I beat the main kind of storyline that allows you then to unlock Sunbreak. So I just needed a break because that was a lot of the same thing.
Yeah.
Went over. Jeez. Oh, nice. Okay. You surprised me. My wife and daughter are going to this Alice in Wonderland thing tomorrow. This it's like a scavenger hunt, right? Yeah. And so anyway, she's dressed up like the Queen of Hearts.
Oh, nice.
Anyway,
Off with the head.
And I think my daughter's gonna be the Cheshire Cat or something like that. So anyway, there you go. There's a little family update, fellas.
That's fun.
So I did finish Monster Hunter Rise.
Appreciate that.
I played a little bit of Neo Dash. I don't necessarily recommend it at its price. If this game were like $5 or less, it's a fun little arcade racer that really does control like Rocket League, but you're on a racetrack. It kind of has that Rocket League feel to it as you're driving around, but it is very bare bones, not much to it. Like after 2-3 races, you're like, I have experienced what I know what this game is the rest of the way.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
kind of a cool looking game too, though. Like it has almost like a Beat Saber vibe. Everything's pulsating and the music is really cool. So it's watch a video on it, I guess, if that sounds interesting to you, but I don't necessarily recommend it at 15. It's a little steep, I think, for how little you get. Soccer Story demo, I played a little bit of it. It didn't quite have the same Golf Story vibe I was hoping that it would. But it's okay. That demo's on Steam if you want to go try that one out. And then Outward, just another that's
a good ass game.
Survival RPG kinda.
Oh, good, great.
Yeah.
Didn't we talk about that last year, right?
Yes, that game's been out.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh no, I'm thinking of a different one. Okay, never mind.
Anybody else play something recently they want to talk about?
Just Dimesia.
Go ahead, Derek.
I'll just talk about it real quick. Yeah, I played about an hour and a half. Combat's really good. I mean, the system, it's definitely faster. The button layout, I think, has gotten changed since the demo. Either that or I was remembering differently. They did change the dodge button to your B or your circle. So I'm very happy about that.
That's good.
But it's got a pretty cool system as far as like basically every enemy has a white bar and a green bar, and the green bar is what you have to get down to kill them, and the white bar will keep growing if you don't get to the green bar fast enough. So the only way you can do that is your regular attacks your RB attacks take down the white bar, which reveals the green bar, and then your claw attacks, which is your right trigger, is what will basically permanently injure the opponent. So there's a lot of tactics there. And I think the combat's really good. I was starting to get good at it. My issue with it, and I understand that it's, again, a cheaper game and stuff like that, but comparing it to like Mortal Shell, which was the same price point, the world is very bland. It's very linear. You feel trapped. Everything looks the same. So I was getting lost, and then I started watching Fighting Cowboy play it, and he said the exact same thing. He's like, this is okay. I hate the level design. I'm getting lost. And I'm like, that's exactly how I feel. Like, this is kind of annoying. Everything looks the same. So I'm like, well, how do I unlock this door? And you run into a bunch of doors that are they'll say they're locked, or they won't say anything at all. And so you're like, so is it an actual door? Like, why would you even create this? Why wouldn't you just make it a wall? So there's a lot of stupid things. And
this is where it makes you appreciate the great game design out there. That
yes,
thought
and
through
I
those kind of
think
things.
even though, like I said, I'm going to compare it more to Mortal Shell than the other games because they're at the same level. Mortal Shell was more open. It was like a mini open world. You had the freedom to go anywhere. Each section and each zone looked completely different, so you weren't like, have I been here before? Like, one is like look like these black rocks that are real clean looking and pretty, and then other areas are forest areas and stuff are swamp areas. So everything looked diverse and different. This all looks like when you load into a level, it all looks the same. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Again, I'm still early on. Maybe I'll get where I'm like, oh, I know this level or I know this area really good. I haven't even gotten to the first boss, but again, I think budget price, I paid 20 for it. I have no problem with it. I think
I was gonna say budget price, smaller team, knowing what you're getting is a big part of this.
Yeah. I think it's fun. I think they did what they needed to do, and that's they hooked me with the gameplay, and I'm like, all right, even if I don't beat this game, I'm gonna play it until I'm sick of playing the gameplay.
Listen, if they just need to put actual Bloodborne on PC, until then, this is the kind of thing we get.
And I think the scores, Metacritic across the board, I mean, all platforms is about a 7. Perfect score. It's not great, but it's not bad.
Swimming in 7. Yep. And I saw someone playing a little Ghost Recon.
Yeah, I've been diddling that a little bit. I was just it popped up on the PlayStation Plus Premium, and I was like, oh, you know what?
Which one?
Which one? What?
Wildlands.
Ghost Recon. Wildlands.
Oh, Wildlands. Yeah,
okay,
sorry,
cool.
Wildlands. And I know that's the one that people really liked, especially as like kind of
really
it kept going on. They kept
That's the one I liked. Yeah, I played that one quite a bit.
And
it's on Game Pass too, just so you're
right. Yeah. It's your kind of typical Ubisoft, but like doesn't feel broken, and it is pretty fun. It's very checkboxy.
It's an amazing tactical shooter if you play it co-op. I'm not saying you can't play it solo. I played a lot of it solo.
Yeah, it's fun enough solo. But
I actually downloaded it because I was like, I really want to play a SOCOM game. What's a really good SOCOM game on PC? And then I was like, oh, Ghost Recon.
That makes sense.
Wildlands.
Yeah,
really
it is really fun just kind of going into like an area and there's like a bunch of dudes and you're using your little like whatever you want to call it, and just kind of surveying everybody and then pinging them and then like telling your guys your drone. Yes, thank you. And kind of pinging them, and then they take position, and then you shoot a guy, and then they shoot him at the same time, like kind of getting that.
That's what I love is when you tell them to shoot, like you target it and you tell them when to shoot, and you got 3 or 4 guys shooting at the same time.
Yep. So that it is.
That's the type of tactical game that I'm into. That
yeah. Remember Brothers in Arms? They kind of started. Remember Brothers in Arms kind of did that the first, as far as I remember, or like the early Rainbow Six stuff did some of that.
Rainbow Six, yes, I remember that.
Rainbow Six,
those games had some cool elements. But yeah, Ghost Recon Wildlands is a lot of fun.
Yeah. So I'm just kind of.
Fair, the newest Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Well, I hated it at launch. They basically turned it.
They did a redesign.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It's fun.
Yeah, they did a complete redesign.
I still think Wildlands is the best version of that.
Type of.
Yeah,
so I'll play that for
Ghost
a little
Recon. What Breakpoint? What was it called again?
It was
so that one is just, to me, just more like a regular ass shooter. Like, but it's still fun. Like, I mean,
it's kind of like The Division. Like, bad guys a little more spongy and stuff like that.
But it's bigger world and more spread out.
Yeah, I mean,
Wildlands is still very tactical. You die quick, they die quick.
Yeah, this world is very large, very, very large,
very big. Yeah.
So what other games for our quick hits section have you guys been?
I gotta mention Spider-Man Remastered. I can't stop playing that freaking game. I'm 17 hours in. Is that where it is? 18 and a half hours in, and I am 85% done with the main campaign. I'm eager to get through the DLC as well. It's just one of my favorite games to replay. It's like my 4th time doing it.
So fun.
And then right before we recorded this, I finally dove back into Arkham Origins. And according to Steam, I only played half an hour of it before, so I just started it over.
Yeah.
I can't believe I still.
That'd be hilarious if you started a half hour in. Like, well, I guess I'll just miss that beginning.
Yeah, because the beginning is so cool. It's you going. It's you like they spell out everything in the first half hour. Like this game, you can tell it's a smaller game because it's not by Rocksteady. So like they're kind of getting to everything much faster and then throwing you out into the world. And so like the beginning is like spelling out all this stuff for you in like less than 5 minutes, where Bruce Wayne just returned. Batman is kind of still a myth. Like nobody really believes that he exists and stuff because not enough people have seen him. And then Black Mass breaks into Blackgate. You go there, you fight Killer Croc as the boss fight for that, and that is awesome. And then right when you the next thing you do immediately after that is you go to the Batcave, and he already has all the information on like 8 assassins that are coming after you. And so anyway, totally nothing happened, and
and Tim's not here now. Don't worry about it. But so after you fight Killer Croc, you're taken to the Batcave, and they show you there's 8 assassins Black Mask hired to come after you, and 4 of them are really well-known names. It's like Bane and Deathstroke, Deadshot, big names ish. And then
That's what I loved about the game.
There's like 3 I don't know at all. But I love that it throws you right into it. And I think some of the walkthrough footage that I saw on YouTube, it was like the whole game is like 11, 12 hours. It's not a full ass experience, but it's enough of one. It sounds like it's gonna be satisfying. I'm looking forward to beating Arkham Knight.
I mean, it was my favorite one. I feel like it has the
best
story
too.
And it has some of the best boss fights.
The Firefly boss fight. Everyone always talks about like the Mr. Freeze boss fight in the second game, but like the Firefly boss fight and the Deathstroke boss fight in this game are like that level of good. I'd say like they're very memorable and
I can't wait
and awesome. And Deathstroke will just like show up the whole game and just be like, "I'm here to kill you, bitch," And it's pretty cool. I like that a lot too.
Well, that's all I got.
I had one game. It's new as well. I am playing Soul Hackers too.
What?
It's
very God.
I'm not streaming that shit now.
And plug it on
why I bought it though is because people are wrapping it up in 25 to 30 hours. Awesome. JRPG at 30 hours. It's amazing for me.
Yeah.
Also the reviews were saying like, oh, it's not really innovative. It's a very throwback battle system. Great. I really don't like a complicated like turn-based battle system. That's awesome for me. So like that was actually like a positive for me, where it was been a negative in a lot of reviews. Also another negative was the dungeons and everything is really linear. Good. Final Fantasy X is my favorite Final Fantasy, but make it a hallway. I don't care. I'm here for the story and the characters, which are good, and the reviews also say they're good as well. The story is actually supposed to be really good in this game. It's just that it's not. It's too throwback. It sounds like for.
So they wanted some complicated. They wanted it to be like Xenoblade Chronicles.
They wanted it to be Persona. You know what I mean? And that's not what this game is. There's not a lot of else going on. But like what I've played so far, it's very colorful, very vibrant. Yeah. It's very cyberpunk aesthetic. It's all about digitized goddesses coming down and like helping like humanity fight demons and stuff. It's a wicked story so far. I'm really enjoying it a lot.
Wicked smile.
It's got that Shin Megami Tensei battle system and monsters that a lot of us are familiar with. So I'm having a good time with it so far.
We should DM our buddy James over this.
He's probably playing it.
He'll have a great conversation with you.
Yeah, I'm sure he's really enjoying it. I know I am. So
taking the wind out of our joke, unbelievable.
You guys did it to me all day. All day it happened.
The only other thing that
idea what you're talking about.
I felt would have been interesting to bring up are 2 things that Kyle and I watched. Dan, did you watch House of the Dragon premiere at all?
No, I've never even watched the.
I don't remember talking about Game of Thrones with you before.
Game of Thrones.
But Derek, you did watch it, or? Yeah, loved it.
I was a big fan.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying not to get too.
So where's the quality compared to like where
it's higher budget, so the quality is higher, I would say.
Yeah,
I meant like story wise, because people started to get sour at the end of Game of Thrones.
I mean, there's 100 episodes of one show and 1 episodes of another, so it's maybe a little too early to tell. But it's high quality writing.
Yes.
It's all stuff and lore that's been written by George R. R. Martin. This is not the wise dudes and other guys, Benioff and Weiss.
Benioff and Weiss,
these guys didn't like. Those guys kind of like took the ball and ran with it. Kind of when they ran out of book material.
They even
shut
out like George R. R. Martin at some point. They just shut him out. Like they were we got this. Don't worry about it.
This is all George R. R. Martin. He's on set. Like he's very hands on with all this. All of these books are done. The story's written. So it's like a lot of the problems I think people have with Game of Thrones, like that doesn't exist here. And I don't think anybody cares because it was like the biggest streaming showing like of all time.
Already renewed. Already got
in the history of streaming shows, like it was like the biggest like first night premiere. So
I heard that HBO Max like shut down because so many people were
it was crashing for a lot of people because they were trying to watch it at once.
So everyone when did that happen before? Was that Tim's back? Was that Euphoria the last time that
Timer.
happened, where so many people watched HBO simultaneously and it broke
I think
HBO
maybe
Max
so,
or whatever?
Yeah. I think it was something.
Yeah, something like that. Because I remember that happening very recently too. And but yeah, House of the Dragon, dude, it's off to a great start. I love that there's going to be a time shift. I'm like, because the princess's best friend or whatever, she's a different actress that I know from Ready Player One.
Girl.
Yeah, the Hightower girl. She's the girl from Ready Player One. She's
great. Yeah.
Is that character, but like they age up. So apparently there's a time jump, or I don't know how that's going to work. If it's going to go back and forth during the whole show or what. I'm very interested.
Sorry about the duck out there. It looks like you guys, the recording didn't stop. That's good. I was curious.
The recording did stop.
It did stop. This is a second. This is a separate recording.
Yeah.
Oh, this is podcast number 2. Let's get into it. Let's go back through Gamescom.
Yeah, right. We lost the first one, guys.
Real deep dive.
You guys, how about that Sonic game, right?
Yeah.
That's all we could just do. We could just do.
I love
the Sonic Frontier.
Yeah.
And
Soul Hackers.
Obviously Soul Hackers, which by the way, Tim, Kyle genuinely is playing and likes it so far. So
I believe it.
He took
I've
the wind out of the joke. That's what happened. Thanks,
Kyle.
I love Matt Smith's character in this, who is like Joffrey but not as sadistic that we know of yet.
Is he like Viserys? Because that's kind of who he looks like.
He's like Viserys, but not annoying. Brother? Like nobody liked Viserys. Like
he showed up.
Everyone found him really annoying. Like there is already a like cascading love for like this character because he's bad guying really well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is a bad guy that like
more layers and nuance to it.
And we're one episode in, and there's already all this like going on, and it helps that Matt Smith is like an aces like actor. So
yeah.
He's like he's the guy who was in Succession, or he's in Succession for the throne, and like there's going to be this whole civil war that happens.
I thought you were saying Succession the show, and I was like,
he's in Succession the show,
with all
the Culkins,
with all the Culkins,
just a random creepy British guy just comes in the show.
So yeah, I'm really excited for more, and I'm really excited that it got picked up for more.
Yeah,
especially with all this HBO butchering stuff. It's nice to like hear things are being saved and like the Batman's safe. Good. Okay.
I mean, you guys know I'm an AEW fan. It's not like I ever talk about it.
Right.
And that was like the number one thing. I was like, oh no, what does this buyout mean? Apparently, the Discovery CEO freaking loves them because they will cross promote House of the Dragon. They will cross promote like other like Shark Week.
Sure.
They implement it like beautifully in like really weird ways in the storytelling. Anyway, HBO Max, watch your back. That's what I'm trying to say. And the last thing I wanted to bring up was obviously Tim, you can still get to your movies, but was the Rehearsal that Kyle and I watched.
Is that your background?
That's a screenshot. That's Nathan Fielder, the creator. He also did a show on Comedy Central called It Is. He did a show on Comedy Central called Nathan For You. It ran for like four years, something like that. And then it had a movie, which was just absolutely
Is he a comedian?
amazing.
Is he a writer? What's his background?
He's a comedian, but he's like an Andy Kaufman comedian where he's not personality. He's not zany, but he's super like chill and so offbeat and just like, oh, okay, awkward comedy is more his style.
So very
but he doesn't
male version of Aubrey Plaza a little bit.
You have a feeling he's presenting you a facade in Nathan For You and in The Rehearsal. Like you're like, this guy's just doing a character 24/7. Like he never breaks. I still don't know who the real person is. But the premise of this show is he is helping people. He's helping people work through real life things they want to go through, like confessing to somebody that a secret that you've never told anybody, or trying to raise a child, or what was the other one with the Raising Cane's? What was that he wanted?
It was an inheritance issue.
Yes. Yeah.
I need to talk to a sibling about a really complicated inheritance issue, but like,
so he is having them do rehearsals by hiring all these actors, building extravagant sets, and like allowing this real person to live out this circumstance.
And multiple different like ways that it could go down. Well, what if they're dismissive to this answer? Well, what if they're accepting? So it's like this spider web of different ways that they're rehearsing these like particular moments. And
it's a quantic dream sort of situation.
It's a crazy ass. That's what he's doing here. He's watching all the extras. He's like, and this is the episode where he starts focusing on acting too. He starts an acting class, so he's looking at the actors for acting technique. but he's really not. It's part of the bit. Like it's his joke on what's happening. That's his humor, though. Is like he finds these freaking weirdos, and he puts them through all these weird scenarios, and that's the comedy. Is him react like somebody that he's talking to, a total stranger, will say the weirdest thing you've ever heard in your life. That they're obsessed with numbers. There's numbers everywhere, and whatever number world order, and like he'll just go, oh, okay. Like that's how nonchalant he is.
Okay.
He doesn't ever go like stop and go, what the hell are you talking about? It's always like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Like
I do like some awkward humor. That sounds pretty funny.
It's good. 6 episodes. They're all like half. Well, I think the first episode's a double ep, but they're all half hours. And it goes deep, dude. There's some poignant meta stuff that will break.
It gets so meta, like I start sweating. Like it's really bizarre and weird and
the meta sweats.
Absolutely. And sometimes you don't realize that you're not watching the real conversation. You're actually watching something 3 rehearsals deep. So it's like Inception kind of too, where like there's all these layers to like
how
what's actually real and what's happening.
Like
he hires that himself to go through all the things he went through so he can observe himself going through these situations.
Wow. It's so stupid.
It is so insane. I that's why I let you explain it. I was like, there's no way I can explain this show to you.
It is. It's
totally
really
crazy,
hard to, and it sounds stupid because it is, and that's where the humor is in the show. It's in the awkwardness and like the actual premise of it being so ridiculous.
He'll muse about how he obsessively built, like, I built a Chicago bar in a soundstage in Oregon, and now I have nothing to do with it. So sometimes I just go there to muse.
Just goes there.
I just go there to muse, where I've hired extras to work the bar, and yada, and it's just like,
to work the
why
bar.
Would you do
HBO gives him money for this shit. It's so crazy.
That's because there's an audience for it.
It's almost like a huge meta parody of making content and like getting millions of dollars from networks and stuff. It's like a prank on everybody in a larger sense.
I've got a couple movies that I've been catching up on, stuff that mostly Jeff, sometimes Kyle, and a few others have already talked about. So I'm not going to talk about it. I just wanted to give my quick like yes or no on these. So I watched Together with James McAvoy, however you say it.
Dude, I was wondering if that's what this movie was.
Yeah.
Because I saw because it's a small movie, so obviously I watch bullshit small movies.
Yeah.
This is a great movie. This is a great COVID movie.
I thought it was a very unique. I found the movie to be tiring to watch, and it's because they include you, the viewer. So it's unique, it's well acted, it's a very unique premise. The idea is that it's this basically estranged husband and wife, maybe not estranged, but they're definitely on the rocks.
They're about to divorce it, basically.
Things are not going well. They hate each other, and that's the whole intro to the show. Is they talk about how much they hate each other, but how they're now stuck together because of the pandemic. Everyone's locked down. So that's the premise of it. But they're talking to you, the camera, all the time, like you're a guest in the house. Like they're talking to the camera and to each other. Like so, you're part of a 3-way conversation for their entire.
Are you
story.
A person or a camera in this?
You're a camera. Like you don't see who you are. They don't address you by name, and so.
Sure, but they're talking to you like a person, not like a documentary crew or whatever.
I mean, it's all done for a purpose, but it was interesting.
I found the approach very interesting, and then it also reminded me that James McAvoy is one of our best like actors. Period. Working.
He's great.
Now. Like he's just great. Amazing in the movie.
That is not a great movie to watch if you're like, dude, I can't listen to people like argue if it's realistic.
No, it's like a play. Because like
it's like
if you're not into like theater anything, don't bother.
Speaking of things that are like plays, I watched The Outfit with Mark Rylance.
It is a one location type.
That is absolutely like a play. It could totally be done on a stage with a few effects here and there. Like absolutely could be a really.
It just mainly takes place at that coat store.
It's only there. I was looking back at it. It's like it's only there. It's like the front room, and sometimes it'll show like an outside shot, but it's all shot within this. He's not a tailor. He's a cutter. So he basically makes suits. That's what he does. That's his thing. They keep calling him a tailor, and he keeps correcting them. No,
this is Mark Rylance, right? This is
Mark Rylance, and he's amazing.
He's great in this.
He's good in everything I've seen him in. He's one of those faces that I keep recognizing.
Remember his Elon Musk type weirdo Mark Zuckerberg character in Don't Look Up? He was like the highlight of that movie.
You mentioned Ready Player One. He's the creator.
He's the weird wizard guy, or the guy who models himself out there. Wizard.
He's a good actor. But anyway, I do recommend this movie. I think it's really good. I think it's really well done, and I think it's great. But it's actually leaving Peacock soon.
Oh, that's right. It's on Peacock. It's really good, and it's a mob story too, taking place in like
set in the 50s,
Boston or Chicago or something.
It's in Chicago, and his business, his suit making business, is being used by the mob to communicate different things, and he's just kind of this old man who just wants to make his suits, and he wants to.
Yeah, but he has his own thing going on too.
And things unfold, and it's good.
It's actually quite good.
It's a good one. I watched The Northman, and everything the guy said is true. It's great.
Man,
it's very dark. It's not a like lighthearted, fun Viking adventure.
Visceral.
When
he shouts at the screen, I want to shout back. It's that type of movie.
But it's good. The cast was amazing, and it's I liked it. It's certainly not for everyone, but I think it's very well done. Like I had to score it high. It's very, very good.
Did you how much higher did the score go once you got to the final like fight scene at the volcano? Like
because
that was just one of the best things I've ever seen.
It was already like really high up on my list.
Yeah.
So it didn't go down, that's for sure. It was great.
Man.
I
watched the best finales ever.
We already talked about Prey a little bit, but I just want to reiterate how great Prey is. All the haters are dumb. It's a great movie.
I think Derek's a hater.
And listen,
he said it was good.
He said it was good. He just didn't love it, but
I'm taking it as hate. Yeah. I'm taking it as hate. That's just it.
He didn't love it.
Like it as much as I do.
You guys overhype shit. So
no, we just love things.
No, actually, I'm always on. You are the controller of your own hype. So that's your fault.
The funny thing about Prey is that
well phrased.
Funny thing about Prey is that the criticisms about a girl wouldn't be able to beat him. Like no human should beat the Predators. They win every time. Humans always win. So Predator's actually pretty bad at hunting on Earth.
6th movie with a Predator in it, and like
again,
in the last 5 they all died. So
like I said in the chat, like a teenager who was a pizza driver like killed a Predator and Alien vs Predator 2. So I think we're okay, guys.
I think we're fine.
I think a Comanche woman who I think she'll be all right.
I love the criticisms I saw that Kyle apparently saw too. Apparently it's a common one with Comanche accuracy. I'm like,
oh, shut up.
Yeah, I was like, it's an alien movie, guys.
It's a Predator movie. It's a Predator movie. It's fake.
Let's say I love westerns and I love historical dramas, and this takes those two things and combines them with crazy Predator alien action.
This is the Cowboys versus Aliens movie that we should have gotten.
I still think it was good because it was like a return to the original. It was
raw.
Yeah. I didn't have any issues with. I know I saw people complaining about the wokeness of it with her.
But it doesn't feel that
being
way,
told that she shouldn't be doing this. She's not supposed to be a hunter. I didn't have a problem with that because I didn't feel like they laid it.
It wasn't overhanded. It wasn't heavy-handed.
Yeah.
Also, that's probably legitimately what would happen. Yeah.
Right.
So.
Well, Comanche women were actually like slaves. Like they had no rights at all. But like again, this is not a documentary.
No, I don't mean like this happened. I'm not trying to speak to the accuracy of the Comanche people.
Oh yeah, but
I'm saying
women
in general in life. There's someone who's like, this is what I want to do, and people tell him you can't do that. But I didn't feel like I was being told, look at these people. They're just men are holding women down. Like that wasn't the message of the movie.
In general, if you just take basic tribalism, there were hunter and gatherers, and women, gather and men hunted. So like, I like that. If you just really boiled it down to that basic concept, like it's pretty easy to just take this movie at face value.
Most epic adventures are a unassuming, unexpected hero coming out of nowhere and like delivering.
Luke Skywalker was a moisture farmer, guys.
Frodo, like all these.
He was whining about his power converters.
Last one I wanted to mention was Bullet Train, which I watched. I know Jeff already talked about it. Dude, this movie feels like a video game at times.
I mean, that's video game the movie right there.
This movie friggin' rocks, dude. Just go in there with I've got no expectations. You don't need to this is not supposed to win an Oscar. This is just supposed to be fun, and it is really fun, crazy,
and funny.
It's silly, like the way that things all kind of work out and come together. Like I like that stuff. I don't need it to be gritty and raw all the time. It's got a bunch of humor. I laughed out loud several times. Like Brad Pitt is the more underrated funny actors out. He's so
for
funny.
Sure. Oh, for sure.
He's the reason I haven't gone and seen it.
Dude, he's so good in this. You might not like it if you don't like him, but
I want to see the movie, but I just don't like it.
Dude, he's great, but he's not even the best part of the movie. Like there's other elements of the movie that are even better.
Other guys that I think are supposed to be funnier that I actually am more interested.
But the way he delivers lines in this, he's so earnest and unassuming. He does a great job in his role in this. But there are other cameos that I won't mention. I've spoiled cameos in the past. I won't do that this time.
There are almost too many cameos.
It's almost to Free Guy levels of cameos.
Yeah. Just nonstop, wall to wall.
but the action is great. The main guy from The Warrior is in it, and he only gets a chance to do kind of one action scene, but he's really good.
But his dad though does get to
Brad Pitt is in a ton of action moments, and those fights are awesome, dude.
Yeah, the fight with Bad
and
Bunny,
I think he did a lot of his own stunts.
Did a lot, and Aaron Taylor Johnson. I've always liked him anyway since Kick-Ass, but he's great.
Yeah,
I'll go see it.
He's Aaron Taylor Johnson.
I like him in this, but sometimes he's just a little too dry for me. I don't know what it is.
The Kick-Ass was
him.
But when he gets to play a charismatic British guy in his own accent,
like he was in this, yes.
Yeah, which is what he was in Bullet Train.
It was him and Brian Tyree Henry. They were perfect together as the twins.
Perfect.
They were so good.
And their Thomas the Train Engine references were just tops. It was so
it was great.
It was so brilliant. And there's like a theme of like luck in making your own fate in the whole movie.
Yes.
And Brad Pitt is like convinced, his character's convinced, like, I have the worst luck ever. And there are moments where it does seem like he has the most shit luck on the planet when he tries to do something really slick and then it backfires in a hilarious way.
Yeah, several fight scenes that are just like
But then he has
bad luck. He has bad luck,
like
but it's like he has incredible luck. Things almost always work out in his favor, even though it's not what he wanted to happen.
It's more about worldview. That's what the movie's trying to say. The fact that the movie tried to say anything at all other than just here's some action.
Listen, it's stylish. It's silly. There's moments where like the most insane things are happening and somehow characters are surviving because they fit through this perfectly like size. Or whatever.
It's ridiculous.
But that's what it's all about. So it's a little bit of Guy Ritchie, a little bit of Quentin Tarantino, a little bit of those elements that are clearly pulled in, but it's also its own wacky thing. And I liked it, man. I needed a movie.
I love the visual of him. I think I mentioned it last time. The visual of him punching that like giant animal, like mascot, like, and you just
plus
hear
it squeaks
and
when it hits him. It goes.
Yeah, that definitely adds something.
And it kind of like just like fall back a little bit. It's a very funny scene. Yeah, there's a lot of funny scenes though. It's a great movie. It's a fun, entertaining movie.
Highly recommend it. All right. Anything else before we wrap it up?
So I'm still watching Community, so obviously I have something more specific. But Tim, did you start Community? I thought you said you were going to watch it.
No, I have been. I'm just going much slower than you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Because I'm on season 2, episode 20, I think.
I think I'm just on episode like 8 of season 1.
You almost at the second round of paintball? I think you are.
That's my favorite episode.
I think that's towards the end. I think that's at the end.
You got to Professorson.
No, I'm still really early in it. I just saw the Halloween one where he
Batman.
He's Batman and he's so friggin' funny.
He does a great Batman, right?
Yeah.
So
fun.
Yeah.
So fun.
I wait.
Yeah. It's really funny. It is a shame that the show definitely kind of like, especially episodes wise, the actual quantity sort of to peter off, right? Because it's like the first 3 seasons are 20 something episodes, and then it goes to like 12, 13 episodes.
And there was, I think,
all shows in that era started to do that. You guys noticed that over the years? Like everything went from 20 something, 30 episodes.
Well, it's because the show wasn't getting its sort of just dessert, right? Like it just wasn't.
It wasn't getting the viewership that you know.
Well, that's also to make a movie, right?
Yep,
they are. The creator of this show has flat out said the outline is done and turned in. It's just a matter of now we're at pay negotiations.
I mean, he literally predicted it, right? Literally, it gets said in the show. 6 seasons in a movie.
We're getting there.
And as soon as they said it in that episode, I think every fan was like, okay, so that's what the show has to be then. Like, they immediately just assigned it to the show, which is very fascinating.
Yeah, it's definitely very funny. The characters are very quirky. They're very silly. There's definitely moments that are even sillier than other moments.
Who's the boss?
Yeah. So my favorite line, and I don't know if you guys have caught this, because I know Kyle has said like he's gone back and like he had missed things and then it caught them later on. There's the Valentine's episode.
Mm-hmm.
When I bet in Troy, like the librarian chick.
Yeah.
So
oh my god! First of all, this is the cutest thing that's ever happened to me.
Yeah, but they walk up to her, right, and she's like, "Listen, I don't know which one to pick." So then they have like a little sidebar, and at one point, literally Troy is mumbling. He's like, "Dude, I want to eat those tatas." He says, "Dude, I want to eat those tatas." I died laughing. I rewind it. I was like, "Did he actually just say that?" Like.
I did like in this Halloween episode when he asks Abed if he's good looking. He says, "Yes, you're very attractive," and he's like, "I knew it."
I always wanted to ask Batman something. Yeah.
You gotta watch the gag reel for.
It's really good.
I mean, all of them are just really funny for the show, but like there are so many alternate takes of what Troy and Abed talk to each other about when he's Batman.
Very funny.
So many. Just Donald Glover making up questions and the guy who plays Abed.
And I had no clue what the show was even about. Like, I didn't even know why it was called Community. I knew literally nothing about the show walking in. Yeah. So then I was like, oh well, okay, that makes sense.
So you finished the Dinner with Andre episode, is what you would have just watched.
Yeah. Oh, I love that episode.
That's such a brilliant episode.
High concept episode.
Yeah.
It's
are
like
you
so.
Dinner with Andre?
Yeah. It's like there's so many layers there.
With there's Pulp Fiction.
Because he starts like unloading all of this like truths that he didn't even want to tell him.
The Cougar Town thing. I pooped my pants, Jeff. I pooped my pants in the set of Cougar Town.
He wasn't legitimately. He was in Cougar Town that week.
Yeah, he was too. He was the character on Cougar. So like, there's a
you see him in the background and he runs off.
All right, well that's pretty amazing. But like he gets so mad though because he's like, we wouldn't even have none of that would have even have happened if you weren't doing your typical movie, thing.
Exactly.
Like,
and you know what's funny? NBC the whole time advertised as a Pulp Fiction spoof. So that's what people were tuning in for. And when it was just My Dinner with Andre, everybody, including me, was like, "What the hell is this?" at the time. But it was so funny, I didn't care anymore.
Yeah, man, that show is quite funny and unsung in some circles. A lot of folks.
Yeah,
a lot of the target audience.
People are finding it.
A lot of the target audience has already seen it, but I think it's got a bigger audience than a lot of folks realize. So it's
if anyone's missed it,
it's not a super niche. There are some comedies that are like this isn't
I wouldn't
for
call
everybody.
it niche. Especially these last couple years, it's been very kind. Viewership has been very kind to the show.
I think it's I think it's a very approachable comedy for sure.
I'm having a lot of fun with it. So
I will wrap things up with a word of advice to our listeners and watchers. We sometimes used to do this, words of wisdom. And
oh God,
here's my words of wisdom to you. If someone else really likes something and you don't have to tell them about that.
No, you did it too serious. No, that's not what our words of wisdom was. It was basically
that feels good.
Do you know?
It was always racist. It was always sexist.
Do you know why Derek doesn't like that? It's because when he doesn't like something that someone else likes, he has to tell them. He has to.
It's overhyped. Yeah. He's unable to control his own emotions.
There's your words of wisdom. And you know what? It might in that moment feel like holding it in. And you're like, oh, dude, I just need to let it out. I got to vent it. I got to vent this out. No, you don't. Just let it go.
Yeah, you really don't. And
no
one really cares either.
Yeah.
So.
You know what? You could keep it in the same blog that Creed from The Office keeps it in, and Krieg.blogspot.gov or whatever the thing is.
For the intranet, it's pretty shocking.
It's pretty shocking stuff. Yeah.
But like literally, pretty much 99% of humans on social media, everything that they're saying doesn't. Now. Effing matter. Like
I say that because I'm also guilty of it, but I never feel good after. I'm always like, why did I cry?
Yeah, I catch myself doing it, and I'm like, you're an asshole.
So there you go. There's my advice. Let people enjoy stuff. Unless it's really bad, then maybe say something.
Unless it's a Zack Snyder movie, then we're gonna have a conversation.
So I don't know. Sometimes like people bring up like just the worst game in the entire world, like in the group on purpose, and like go after that, of course. You know?
Like God of War, right? Like God of War.
Take y'all's own advice when I bring up Greedfall. That's all I gotta say.
I like Greedfall, Derek. So
take your own advice when I talk about Greedfall.
That is a good point.
Or whatever.
Because the name of the game is close to Creed.
That's it.
Creed, gross. That's why it's gross.
I can't wait. You know what, Derek? I'm excited for your 2022 Greedfall this year because I know you got one.
Steel Rising is coming.
Steel Rising.
Very excited.
Steel Rising.
Thymesia might be, or Thymesia, how do you say it? Might be that game this year where it's like, this is pretty good. It's a swimming in sevens. It's pretty good.
Okay, that steel's not going to be the only thing rising for Derek. Am I right?
Amen, brother.
Hell yeah, brother.
Well, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for listening.
Sounds like a work to me.
We'll see you next time.
All about that, dude. That's probably a shoot.
Jeff, stop the recording. Peace.
God damn it.